Well, this is a real nice setup.
Just like any other TV studio.
So where's the great Phil Roberts?
I don't know. He's probably in his office with Ben.
Who's Ben?
He produces the Phil Roberts show.
Oh. You got him in your pocket yet?
I don't have anyone in my pocket. Stop asking so many questions.
Ooh, what's the matter? You nervous?
Look, just leave all the talking to me, okay?
Sure thing. That way you can be my manager, just like you are for Ricky Decker.
Bo.
What's the matter? Afraid someone's going to tell Ricky?
This ain't the place.
There is no law against a man being affectionate with his wife.
Yes, Doctor. Thank you. Goodbye.
Is that Dennis's doctor?
Yes. Dennis spent a restful night, whatever that means. I'm so tired of vague answers.
Are you going to see Dennis today?
Of course I am. I'm not going to let my son lie there in that hospital without my support.
May I go with, too?
Maybe tomorrow, Vivi.
There's a real nice article in the paper today about the party last night.
I want to forget about that dreadful party.
Did you read the article?
No.
Are you going to?
I'm not interested.
And there's also an article about Mrs. Carrington, Dennis's ex-wife. Whatever I'm supposed to call her now.
What kind of article could they have written about Paige?
She's going to open a boutique in the Galleria. And the opening is going to be a big charity benefit, and Mrs. Caldwell Oliver is arranging it. Isn't she a friend of yours?
I thought she was. Let me see that.
I hope I'm not taking you away from your work.
No, I was just waiting for Mrs. Oliver. We have an appointment this morning.
The lady from the Orphans Fund Committee.
Yes. She called and wanted to speak to me. I assume it's about the opening for the boutique.
Is everything going all right?
As far as I can tell. How's Dennis?
I haven't seen him yet this morning. I was on my way to the hospital now. You left the hospital last night without even saying goodbye.
I wish Justin would calm down. Stayed up all last night pacing the floor, ranting and raving about the judge letting Bubba out on bail.
Well, Bubba didn't rape Lurleen, he just beat her up. So the judge let him out until his case comes up for trial.
I know it, but Justin thinks that that's a mistake.
So do I. But there's nothing you can do about it. Is Justin still sleeping?
No. When I woke up this morning, he was already gone.
Where have you been?
Out looking for Bubba Wadsworth?
You didn't find him?
No, but I will, Grandma. I will.
Justin, I wish that you'd just let the sheriff take care of Bubba.
He could have taken better care of Bubba last night.
Well, now it wasn't the sheriff's fault that Bubba was released.
Grandma, he could have talked to Judge Turner. Anyhow, the judge should know how dangerous Bubba is.
Well, now, Justin, you know how much I dislike Bubba. I've disliked him from the beginning. But I want you to stay out of it.
I can't.
If he was in Houston, you would have found him by now. So why don't you just leave well enough alone? Now, you let Ryan and the sheriff take care of him.
Now, Ashley's right. Lurleen's going to be safe out here on the ranch. Why don't you two just go ahead and go on your honeymoon as you planned?
I'm not leaving town as long as Bubba is still here.
I left the hospital last night, Ellie, because I was tired. And because I knew there was nothing that I could do.
I really would have liked it if I could have talked to you.
I wouldn't have known what to say, so it wouldn't have done much good.
I think we've all been upset by what's happened.
Yes, we have.
But I think we have to talk about our feelings. Not keep everything bottled up inside.
Our feelings is why Dennis did what he did.
Well, don't you see, that's all the more reason to keep everything in the open.
No. You're wrong. It'll only cause more friction.
It's not the truth that causes friction, it's the lies. Dennis wasn't honest about his feelings. Nor was I, for that matter.
What makes you think Dennis wasn't honest about his feelings?
Maybe dishonest is the wrong word. He wasn't aware of his true feelings.
Oh, I think he was very clear about his feelings, Elliot. That's why he wanted all of Houston to see my pornographic film.
It's not that simple, Paige. There's a fine line between love and hate. They're both very strong emotions.
You're not suggesting that his wanting to show that film was an act of love.
No, of course not. Dennis hated the fact that you had made the film. He felt some kind of betrayal from you. But that doesn't alter the fact that I think he's still very much in love with you.
In love with me? Elliot, Dennis hates me. It's not the film, it's not Chris, it's not Pete Parnell, it's me. I am the object of his hate.
Well, I will grant you that part of him does hate you. But there's still a larger part that remembers you as the woman he married, as the woman he promised to love and honor.
If only that were true, at least we could reestablish a basis for something of a friendship.
No, that'll take some time. Those feelings were tearing Dennis apart. I don't think he'll be well until he's able to deal with both sides of his feelings.
What can we do?
We can be here and be ready to help him if he needs us. Both of us.
Good morning, Dennis.
Morning, Dr. Jeffers.
And how are you feeling this morning?
I feel like I've been in a dream and I'm just beginning to wake up. Only it wasn't a dream, was it?
No. I'm afraid it wasn't. What makes you think that Phil Roberts is going to give me a job?
I'll ask him.
Oh, just like that.
I think I can talk him into it.
Well, maybe you better talk to that Ben fellow you were telling me about.
Why?
Well, you said he's the producer, right?
Yeah, so what? I believe in going straight to the top.
Has Phil Roberts got the final say on everything?
It's his show.
Well, that didn't help him keep your brother off this show now, did it?
Oh, I did that.
You did that? The more reason he's not going to want to give me a job.
Look, Phil and I understand each other. It'll be fine. Don't worry.
Ben, I want to go over that last light cue with you. Whenever you're ready, my friend.
Stay here. Mr. Roberts. Hi, excuse me. I'd like you to meet a friend of mine. This is Bo Baker. He's from Nashville, and he's a songwriter. And I just wanted to talk to you
I
about
don't have time to talk to you right now, Ruby. Come with me. I got to talk to Ben about those closing camera shots. Right at the end
Well,
of the show.
so much for that good idea.
Don't count on it.
Well, thank you for seeing me on such short notice,
Oh,
Mrs. Carrington.
No problem, Mrs. Oliver.
I won't keep you from your work long.
Oh, I sent Nita over to the boutique to supervise the workmen, so you have as much time as you need.
Good.
Would you be seated?
Oh, thank you.
Is there some problem, Mrs. Oliver?
Well, there really isn't any problem, but,
But what?
well, I read the article in the paper this morning about the opening of your boutique.
Yes.
It mentioned that all sales would benefit the orphans' charity.
Really? Why, I read the paper this morning, but I didn't see the article.
It's only a small piece at the foot of the social page.
Mrs. Oliver, I'm terribly sorry. I had no idea this was going into the paper. My publicist must have done it without telling me.
You know, the agreement with the orphans' charity isn't final yet.
I
I do hope that this article isn't going to present any problems for you.
Well, I don't foresee any problems, but I must admit that I was surprised to read the notice in the paper.
Well, I do hope that you will accept my apology. My publicist just misunderstood me.
Well, I don't think that you did it on purpose, and as I said, I don't foresee any problem, but I want to make it certain that you understand that I need the board's approval before I can give a final okay. I'm not meeting with the board until tomorrow.
Please let me assure you that this is no problem from my point of view, and I will talk to my publicist immediately and make sure nothing else is put in the paper before it's finally settled, all right?
Justin, I read in the paper that your sister Paige is opening up a boutique in the Galleria. Isn't that a surprise?
I hadn't heard that.
She must have gotten a big settlement from Dennis to be able to finance that.
I doubt that. She probably used that money I paid her for her share of the ranch.
Well, I think that's really interesting.
What?
Two marshals starting new businesses at the same time.
I hope Paige's boutique is a success. I know Marshall Oil will be.
I'll do anything I can to help.
The best thing you can do is take care of yourself. My first son, I will take care of the business. When is the baby due exactly?
Oh, well, Justin, it's really hard to tell on the first one.
All the Marshall babies were delivered on time.
Well, the Linden babies weren't. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Well, can you make a guess?
I think around March 21st. First day of spring.
Thanks, Dad. That's terrific. But you're the crossword puzzle expert. I'm going to need help.
Well, I don't know how much help I can be.
Why not?
Well, I'm only about halfway through the crossword puzzle book she brought me when I was in the hospital. It's not my fault. She brought me enough books to start a lending library.
I guess I did kind of load you down, didn't I?
Yeah, it seems like every time you came, you brought a different book.
Well, I didn't want you to get bored.
How are they treating you, son?
So far, so good.
As I recall, food here at this place isn't half bad.
Well, I don't remember the breakfast. I was half asleep when they wheeled it in. But lunch was pretty good.
I'm sorry I didn't get here earlier.
It's all right.
I just wanted to get things started at the station first. Thought that would give us a little more time to visit.
Did you tell Vicky I wouldn't be back for a while?
Mm-hmm. It's all been taken care of.
Thank you.
When you feel up to it, Vicky says your job is ready and waiting. It's going to be all right, son.
I'm sorry, Dad.
Oh, don't be sorry. I want you to be sorry. Nothing to be sorry for. Just want you to be well.
I feel like I've been in a dream. I don't know why I did what I did. To you or to Paige.
Well, that's what we're here. What we're here for, to find that out.
Have you talked with her?
Mm-hmm, I have.
Is she all right?
Paige has a lot to deal with right now. We all do.
Excuse me, Dr. Jeffries. May I speak with you?
Oh, of course, Paige. Just a moment, please. Continue with the usual dosage.
Sorry to bother you. I was wondering how Dennis is.
Well, he seems to be all right now. He spent a very restful night, and judging from his appetite at lunchtime today, I would say that he's not unduly depressed. As a matter of fact, I think I can safely say that under the circumstances, he's doing quite well.
Oh, good. That's wonderful news. Have you had a chance to speak with him this morning?
If you're referring to therapy, I have an appointment at 4.
Do you know how long he's going to have to be here in the hospital, Doctor?
Well, that's very difficult to say. It's really going to be up to Dennis.
What do you mean?
Well, since he checked himself into the hospital voluntarily. He's free to go at any time. But my guess is at least a week, possibly several.
Dr. Jeffries, is there anything I can do to help him?
At the moment, there isn't.
If there is anything, would you please let me know?
Of course, I'll be glad to.
You won't forget.
No, I won't forget.
All right. Thank you. Doctor, I know that anything that you and Dennis would discuss will be confidential, but somehow I would like him to know that I don't blame him for what he did.
Well, for now, Dennis's main problem is dealing with his feelings of guilt. That's the first step.
And after that?
After that, Dennis's recovery will have to come one step at a time.
What are you doing?
I just finished rewiring this lamp for Grandma.
You know anything about lamps?
Ashley, any dummy can fix a lamp. Here we go. Never did like that lamp.
We could always give it to Ryan and Jenny for a wedding present.
Listen, I just talked to a fella I know in Mississippi who was on that same oil field we talked about.
Uh-huh.
He talked to Bubba, and Bubba is on his way there right now.
Oh, I'm so glad. I don't want him hanging around Houston.
Well, you know, there's no reason for us to hang around now. Let's leave tonight.
Justin, I would love to.
I'm worried about you. Will you get seasick? I mean, because you're pregnant and all?
Well, no, I don't think so. I'm a good sailor.
Hey! Well, did you and Ginny ride all the way to the North Range?
No, just part of the way.
That jacket looks a little big on you.
It was Max's. Rena gave it to me.
Oh.
How you feeling, Lily?
Fine.
We found out Bubba's on his way to Mississippi. He is not in Houston.
I hope he never comes back.
Well, we all do.
Oh, he's got sense enough not to show up around the ranch. You'll be safe here, Lily.
Guy told me he found Edgar's kittens.
Edgar had kittens?
Well, it's Miss Edgar now.
Oh.
Where are they?
In the hayloft in barn number 3. I think I'll go take a look at them.
Okay, see you later.
Bye-bye.
Miss Edgar?
Thank you, Rennie. See you tomorrow.
Mr. Roberts, do you have a minute?
I thought you left a couple hours ago, Ruby.
Well, I did, but I thought I'd come back after the show to see if you might have a little more time for me.
Is this still about that friend of yours? What was his name?
Bo. He's a songwriter from Nashville.
You don't give up, do you?
Of course, if you have to be someplace, I understand.
Oh, no, I don't have to be any place. I always say there's no time like the present.
Funny. That's what I always say, too.
I do have a dinner engagement, but that's not for an hour and a half.
An hour and a half? I've got time if you do.
Sure, I got the time.
You are the last person in the world I'd expect to see here.
I have just as much right to be here as you do, Iris.
Dennis is my son.
And my ex-husband. I still bear his name.
Not as far as I'm concerned, Miss Marshall.
I still care very much what happens to Dennis, even though we're divorced, Iris.
Oh, you couldn't possibly care what happens to him. You've already demonstrated that.
In what way?
In every way. You have a real nerve coming here. When you're to blame for Dennis's whole problem.
Oh, I think you can share that blame, Iris.
How dare you say that after what you did to him with that film?
I am not going to let you hold that film over my head any longer.
Oh, if I could hold it over your head, I would. But I don't want a scandal any more than you do.
I find that very hard to believe.
Well, I don't know why you should.
You knew that Dennis was planning on showing that film at the party last night, didn't you?
Yes, I knew his plans.
And it was you who invited all your rich and famous Houston friends to the party to see the film, wasn't it?
I had no part in Dennis's plans.
I don't believe you.
Well, whether you believe me or not is of no concern to me. But it so happens I'm telling you the truth.
You forget, Iris. I know you too well.
I think you're putting yourself in my place and imagining what you would have done. But you mustn't think that the whole world would sink to your level.
After what you did at that party, I don't think you should throw stones at anyone.
All right, Paige. I knew Dennis planned to show the film. But I didn't approve of it, and I did everything in my power to stop him.
Everything but go to Elliot and me and tell us the truth.
I stopped Dennis from showing the film. That's all that should concern you.
My concern is Dennis, Iris. And what he's gone through.
Oh, he didn't go through half of what you're going to go through before I'm finished with you.
Hey, Grandma.
Oh, where are you two going?
Oh, we're going to take a short cruise on our yacht. Want to come along?
No, thank you. Justin, if you had any common sense, you'd take that yacht right back to the shipyard.
Grandma, it's mostly for business.
Well, new businesses can't afford yachts.
Marshall Oil can. It's a very practical asset anyway, Grandma.
You're being extravagant and foolish.
Now. Listen, I picked up some papers out of Dad's files. I'm going to study them while I'm away.
Well, I guess they belong to you as much as they do to anybody else. How long are you going to be gone?
Well, that depends. Depends on the weather and Ashley. I mean, with her being pregnant, I wonder if she's going to get seasick or not. I'll call you from the yacht, Grandma, and tell you our plans.
Good. Oh, will you tell me one more thing before you go?
What's that?
I saw that contractor you hired wandering around out in the yard a while ago. What's he up to?
Well, if he's out in the back, he's here to talk about the pool. I'll go talk to him.
Are you pregnant now?
Yes, I am.
Still don't believe you.
You know, a friend of Justin's called and told him that Bubba was in Mississippi working on an oil project. So at least he won't be hanging around here bugging Lurleen for a week or two anyway.
Good. Where is she?
She went to barn number 3. She's looking at Edgar's kittens.
You shouldn't be out here by yourself. You should be back with your brothers and sisters and your mother. You're real adventurous. I think I'll call you Christopher Columbus. Yeah.
You keep that bottle for your nervous guest?
No. This bottle was left over from a birthday party we had here last month. Here you go.
Aren't you joining me?
I'm having club soda, which is fine.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts.
Well, you don't have to call me Mr. Roberts. It's Phil.
Phil.
Now I want to hear about that songwriter friend of yours.
Well, I've already told you just about everything there is to know.
Aren't you afraid that Bo Baker and your other client, Ricky Decker, will be in competition?
I don't think they're really in competition with each other.
Why not? They're both singers, aren't they?
Yeah, but they're two totally different kinds of singers.
In what way?
Well, Bo writes his own songs, so his material is much more personal, whereas Ricky's got a much wider range.
I'm not sure we need two singers on the show.
Well, Ricky only performs twice a week. I think we need some kind of entertainment every single day.
Are you, sleeping with Bo Baker, too?
I beg your pardon?
I wasn't born yesterday, Ruby. I know you're Ricky Decker's personal manager, and I know just how personal that gets.
Mr. Roberts, I think you misunderstood my reason for coming here to see you.
No, I don't think I misunderstood anything.
You happen to be wrong.
Well, maybe the show does need two singers, but at the moment I'm not persuaded.
Maybe I'm not the one who should try to persuade you.
Oh, I think you are. I think you can persuade me if you try. Now, just how important is it to you to have Bo Baker appear on my show?
Bo needs a job.
And that's important to you.
I'm his manager. If he's not working, I don't make any money off of him.
Well, I think we can work something out. As a matter of fact, I've been wanting to work something out with you ever since you came prancing in here with those balloons in your hand. You're a very sexy woman.
Am I?
You know you are.
Well, I'm beginning to believe you, Phil.
I hope you're not planning on being late for dinner, Philip.
I read in the paper this morning about your boutique. What was the quaint little name you've chosen for it? Page 1?
Yes, that's right.
I'm really surprised that you think you can pull that off, Paige.
Actually, Iris, most of the work is done. It's about to open in a week.
I hope you haven't put all your capital into this new venture. You know the old saying, all your eggs in one basket.
My finances are none of your business, Iris. But it's sweet of you to be concerned about my welfare.
My only concern and hope is that you have set aside enough money to buy a one-way ticket out of town when the boutique closes.
I don't plan for the boutique to close.
No, of course you don't. But then one never knows.
I think I do.
I know the kind of establishment you have in mind. Chic clothes, chic clientele. Do you really think that decent people will patronize a shop you own?
If I have the kind of clothes that they want to buy, yes, I think they will.
Well, I don't think so.
And why not?
Once they find out the kind of person you really are.
Is that a threat, Iris? Are you going to tell them about my film?
No. That would hurt Dennis. And he's been hurt enough. But there are different ways of saying things. I just don't think I'll have any trouble at all getting the message across.
Hello, Iris.
Have you seen Dennis?
I was just with him.
Is anyone with him now?
No. I think you should check with Dr. Jeffries, though. He's at the nurse's station at the end of the hall.
Thank you.
Dr. Brown, 8-1. Dr. Brown.
Has Iris been here long?
Oh, long enough.
Don't let her bother you.
After every run-in I have with that woman, I tell myself that I'm not going to let her get to me the next time. But she has an uncanny ability to do just that.
Well, contractor will be out next week to start building the pool.
Justin, we've got one large pond and 4 creeks.
And 1 swimming pool. You ready to go?
Yes.
What are those, Grandma?
Oh, these are some old photographs I've had lying around for years. I've been meaning to put them in the album.
What prompted you to bring them out now?
Well, I thought it'd be a good project for Lurleen.
It's a good idea. Keep her mind off Bubba.
Well, hi there. Did you find the kittens?
Oh, yes, they're adorable. But one of them won't stay with the others.
Well, why not?
I don't know, but Edgar hisses at the kitten every time I try to put it back with him.
Grandma feels the same about me.
Well, I can't understand what's wrong.
Well, that sometimes happens with animals. The mother will reject the young for some reason or another.
Will Edgar hurt the kitten?
Possibly. Maybe you better take it down to the stable and keep it safe down there.
All right. Is Jenny back from town?
Not yet. Oh, she'll be back soon.
I wanted her to see the kittens.
I'd like to see those kittens, too.
I thought you and Justin were going off on your yacht.
Well, we have plenty of time.
Did we? Good. Let's go see them. Okay?
Bye.
Let's go.
darling. We were just talking about one of the singers on the show. This is his manager, Ruby Wright. Ruby, I'd like you to meet my charming wife, Joan.
Nice to meet you, Mrs. Roberts.
Are you ready to go, Philip?
Oh, sure. How'd you get down here?
In a cab.
Well, I thought we were supposed to meet at the restaurant.
Well, I thought I'd come down to the studio instead. That way we could go together. I hate going to a restaurant alone.
Well, you almost missed me, honey.
Almost. But not quite.
I left my keys in the office. Why don't you come with me while I go get...
No, I think I'd rather stay here and just wait for you.
Mr. Roberts, I think I better be going now. I'm real glad we got that contract problem with Ricky all straightened out.
Yeah, I am too. I like to keep a happy show.
See you tomorrow.
If you don't mind, I'd like to have a word with you.
Well, I'm sorry, Mrs. Roberts, but I'm planning to have dinner with my client. I'm already a little late. Maybe we can make it some other time.
Well, it won't take much time, I can assure you.
Joan, dear.
Philip, dear, why don't you go get the keys?
Yes, yes, dear.
That's a lovely suit. Where are you and Mr. Roberts going for dinner?
Whose drink is that?
It's mine. Mr. Roberts offered it to me.
Did he have one?
No. He had a club soda.
Did you know that Philip is an alcoholic?
No, I didn't.
He's been on the wagon for almost a year now, but one drink and that's it.
Well, why are you telling me this?
Well, I gather you have a client on his show.
That's right, I have two. Ricky Decker and Billy Joe Wright.
Well, if Philip starts drinking again, you and your clients can kiss the show and all the money you're making goodbye.
Has Mr. Roberts had a problem with the show before?
A year and a half ago, he almost lost it.
But he didn't.
I pulled him out. Everybody else had given up on him, but I went to Vicki Bellman and asked her to give him one more chance.
Mr. Roberts must be very grateful to you.
You're not the first, you know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think you do.
And I think you're jumping to some pretty fast conclusions.
You know, he may not be any great prize, but I love him for some odd reason.
I'm sure you do. And I'm sure Mr. Roberts loves you, too.
Don't condescend to me. I don't need some cheap tramp trying to make it with my husband behind my back.
I'm not trying to make it with anybody. And you have no right to talk to me like that.
He needs me. I am the only thing standing between him and that bottle. I just want you to remember that.
I will.
What was it that Iris said to you?
It's really not important.
Well, it's important if it upset you.
I'm very easily upset at the moment.
We have to talk, Paige.
I don't think it's such a good time.
I don't think there'll ever be a good time, but we have to do it. Maybe I'm the one who's been wrong from the start.
No.
Maybe I was pushing for something that simply can't be.
Elliot, please don't do this.
I love you, Paige, but I know that doesn't give me carte blanche to say and do as I please.
I don't think you've been saying and doing as you please.
Well,
I think you've been very understanding.
It wasn't very understanding of me to threaten to follow you if you left Houston.
You told me I was running away. You were right. You made me see that.
Oh, all along I can see I've been putting pressure on you.
No, you haven't.
Taking you to lunch, taking you to dinner, going with you to the boutique, following the progress you're making. I've been smothering you.
Elliot, listen to me. I know I wouldn't have made as much progress on the boutique without your help. I'm very grateful to you for your support.
Oh, it's more than that, Paige, and you know it.
No.
I've been waiting and hoping that you would change your mind. That somehow, some way, the two of us would get together. That night, in your family's cabin, when we were caught in the rain, I sensed a feeling inside of me that I thought had died. And I was very selfish. I wanted to hold on to that feeling. I had no right to force that feeling on you.
You didn't force anything on me.
Well, you felt that what I felt was wrong.
Because I knew what Dennis would feel when he found out.
Because I was his father and you were his wife.
Yes.
Well, maybe you were right. Maybe it is wrong. I don't know. But I'm willing to ask myself that question now.
This is the one. I named him Christopher Columbus.
Why did you name him Columbus?
Because he's so adventurous.
Oh, I believe that.
Come here. You're the cutest little thing I've ever seen in my whole life. Yes, you are. The rest of the litter's over there behind the bale of hay. I wonder how they're going to get down from here.
Oh, well, Edgar will get them down.
What if she can't?
Well, then you and I'll come up here and we'll take them down when they're ready.
Oh, okay.
Marlene, I'm real sorry about what happened with Bubba.
I know Justin looked all over the county for him. I appreciate that. I want you to thank him.
Why don't you do that yourself?
I don't know.
You're embarrassed, aren't you?
Yeah.
I know that if somebody tried to rape me, I'd be embarrassed too. But you don't need to be. Now, Lurleen, that wasn't your fault. You didn't cause it. And it's wrong for you to feel guilty about it. Bubba's the one that should feel guilty about it.
I know a girl in college. I tried to rape her, and it ruined her life.
Well, don't let that happen to you, Lurleen. Now, there's no need for it. What Bubba did was a terrible thing. And it's going to take you some time to get over it. But not all men are like Bubba. Now, you know that, Lurleen, don't you?
Jeb and Caleb aren't. Max wasn't. Even Justin wouldn't treat a woman like that.
No, he sure wouldn't. You know, I think you need to talk to somebody about your feelings.
My feelings are so confused.
Well, that's why you need to talk to somebody. Maybe you can straighten it all out.
Maybe.
You don't want to talk to Miss Kate now, do you? Well, then talk to Jenny. You feel comfortable with her, don't you?
Yeah.
And you can talk to me anytime that you want to. I'll help you all I can.
Thank you.
Tell you what, let's round up Columbus and take him to his new home. Come here. You go down first and I'll hand him to you, okay?
Come here, you little ragamuffin.
Hello, Mrs. Oliver.
Hello, Vivian.
Edith, dear, how nice to see you. Vivi, would you serve us some tea in the sunroom? Thank you.
Well, I'm sorry that I missed your party last night. Iris, but Caldwell and I had already committed ourselves to a previous engagement.
I understand. Wasn't that interesting a party anyway?
Oh, I doubt that. You are one of Houston's most ingenious hostesses. Your parties are always fun.
Thank you.
Well, you said that you wanted to talk to me about something?
Yes, about the Orphans Charities participation in the opening of the Page One boutique.
Oh, what about it?
You know who Paige is, don't you?
She's your ex-daughter-in-law, isn't she?
Unfortunately.
Well, I seem to remember that you were not that pleased with the marriage.
That's an understatement.
But Paige is a Marshall girl. Mike Marshall was always a good friend of Caldwell's.
I'm afraid I've had my problems with the Marshall family.
I read about the business with Justin and World Oil, but Justin has always been a bit of a black sheep in the family.
Justin is the black sheep. Paige is an absolute disgrace.
Well, I remember when she ran off to Hollywood to become a movie star, but that is not considered a disgrace these days. Several of our friends have daughters who have moved to Los Angeles to become actresses.
Unfortunately, Paige associated with some very unsavory people in Los Angeles. One of them followed her to Houston. A man named Chris Shaw.
Oh, my goodness. He was murdered, wasn't he?
Yes.
And Paige was arrested for the murder, and Dennis confessed to... Oh.
Paige was also the friend of a man named Peter Parnell, who has confessed to the killing of Alex.
I didn't know that.
She moved in with Mr. Parnell when she and Dennis separated.
Poor Kate Marshall. What a burden for her to bear.
There is no telling where Paige found the resources to open this boutique.
What do you mean?
Well, Edith, I don't think she has that kind of money. It's possible that it's being funded by one of her unsavory friends. I just don't think it's the sort of situation you want your charity involved in, or your friends.
Bo, I already gave you $5,000.
You owe me a lot more than that, Ruby.
Look, why don't you wait till I get you a job on the Phil Roberts show? Then I'll give you all the money. But if I do it before then, Billy Joe and Ricky are going to get suspicious.
You ain't gonna get me no job on the Phil Roberts show. Not after last night. He's gonna keep his distance from you now.
Why? Just because his wife walked in on us? You underestimate me, Bo.
Not me, doll. I did that once. You walked out on me. But this Phil Roberts fella, he's something else again. Now, you start pushing too hard with him, he's going to push right back, maybe push you right out the door.
Don't worry. Mrs. Phil Roberts told me exactly how to handle her husband.
Oh, Billy Joe. Thank God you're here. Why, am I late? Oh, no, I have to talk to you about something very important. There have been a few changes on the show, and I want to talk to you about them before Phil finds out.
Finds out about what?
That we want you to be the co-host of the show.
I gather you had a successful shopping trip.
Oh, very successful. Were there any calls?
9 or 10, I made a list.
Did Edith Oliver call?
Yes, ma'am. She said she appreciated a little talk you had with her yesterday. I gather that has some special meaning for you.
Oh, indeed it does. It means that Paige Marshall's in for quite a surprise.
Did you see Dennis this morning?
I was at the hospital about an hour ago. Dennis is doing fine.
Any word on when he might get out?
Well, that depends on him. He can leave any time he wants to, but I think he'll probably stay at least another week. I think what he needs right now is rest.
Well, I mustn't keep you any longer, Elliot. I have to get dressed to go over to the boutique.
I was thinking of dropping by myself. I wanted to see how the remodeling was going. Why don't I pick you up on the way?
Thank you. I'd like that very much. I'll see you shortly, Elliot. All right? Bye-bye.
Why, Mrs. Oliver. I'm sorry to drop by without warning. I tried to reach you by phone, but it was busy all morning.
Oh, yes. As a matter of fact, I was just talking to Nita about the invitations, announcing that the Orphans Charity Fund is going to be sponsoring the opening of the boutique.
I need to speak to you about that. There's been a problem. I'm dreadfully sorry, but I have to tell you that the Orphans Fund isn't going to sponsor the opening after all.
Hey,
Well, she is. I just want to write the names on the back of the pictures before she puts them in the album.
Do you remember all those names?
Almost, except for maybe one or two. I'll have to get Judge Rayburn to help me with them.
When are you going to invite the judge out here for supper?
Soon. Right now, I think maybe we better do something about lunch.
Okay. Where's Arlene?
Down to the stable. She'll be back shortly.
Well, you seem to be getting along pretty well in your new home. I'm sorry you can't be with the rest of your brothers and sisters, but I'm going to ask Miss Kate to let me keep you up at the house. In the meantime, I'll spend as much time as I can down here. Yeah. Hello? Yeah. Okay. I'll be right up there. Okay. Well, Christopher Columbus, I've got to go up to the house for lunch, but I'll be right back, so don't you go away.
Bo, I'm going to have Phil Roberts eaten out of my hand by tonight. But I'm going to need your help.
What kind of help?
Listen, I want you to run out and get me a fifth of vodka and some mixers. Oh, and get some decent glasses, too. Bring it all back here.
What for?
Never mind what for, just do it. Oh, and make sure you disappear around 4 o'clock.
Hey, wait a minute. Hey, now, you ain't planning on bringing Phil Roberts back here now, are you? Now, what good's that gonna do?
Listen, Mrs. Phil Roberts told me that her husband is an alcoholic. Now, he almost lost the show a year ago, but she kept him from doing it. She also told me if he ever takes another drink...
All right, so he gets drunk, so what?
Well, the sponsors of the Phil Roberts show aren't too happy with him as it is. And if he shows up drunk again...
He gets fired, so what?
Well, if he gets fired, then Billy Joe takes his place, and I'll get Billy Joe to give you a job.
Is that right?
That's right.
Ooh, I sure got me one smart wife.
You got one busy wife. Come on, Bo.
Just like the good old days in Nashville. Tell me something, Ruby.
What?
Is Ricky Decker as good as I am?
I gotta go. Just remember to be out of here by 4, okay? Oh, don't forget the booze. Lillian's on her way up.
She's much calmer, don't you think? She seems much more secure with you around.
I think she's secure because she knows that Bubba's in Mississippi.
Oh, I just hope he'll stay there for a while.
Justin thinks he'll stay at least a week. Oh, and speaking of Justin, did you find out for sure if Ashley's really pregnant?
She says she is.
Rena doesn't think so. Neither do I.
Have you talked to Rena?
Yes. She's driving Cody crazy because she keeps calling him every hour to find out if they've had any word on Stephen Barrett.
Well, he can handle that. I'm just glad Rena's got something constructive to channel her energies into.
I don't think she's given up on Justin.
Well, now, don't you encourage her.
No, I won't. I won't. Did you, see Rena's picture in the financial page this morning?
Uh-huh.
There was an article about Paige, too.
Yes, I saw that. I didn't know Paige was going to open a boutique.
Mm-mm. What surprises me is that Mrs. Oliver would lend her support for her charity to Paige.
Well, Edith and Caldwell Oliver have been good friends of Paige's father. Or maybe Edith felt that was a good reason for her to get involved.
I wonder if Mrs. Oliver knows what she's getting herself into.
Well, now, Paige ran the Top of the World Club very well. Alex Wheeler thought she was a good businesswoman. I think maybe the shop will go all right.
Wait a minute. I thought everything was set with the Orphans Fund.
It wasn't official.
But I understood it to be only a formality, Mrs. Oliver.
I'm dreadfully sorry. These things happen.
May I ask why the committee decided to change their minds?
We decided that the venture was too commercial.
But I understood that the fund did this sort of thing all of the time.
We do, but more often with churches and institutions of that sort.
I was going to donate the entire proceeds of the opening day to the Orphans Fund.
I know, my dear. And it was a very generous gesture on your part.
It was going to amount to a sizable sum of money, not to mention the publicity.
I'm dreadfully sorry, but the committee has made their decision, and there's nothing I can do.
I see. Mrs. Oliver, did the committee have any help in making their decision?
I don't know what you mean, Mrs.
Oh, I
Cameron.
have a feeling that you know exactly what I mean.
I must be going. I'm so sorry.
Not half as sorry as I am. You're not gonna get away with this, Iris.
Ben, what's going on around here?
Well, what do you mean, Phil?
I mean, what the hell is going on around here? I come into the studio and people are clustered around whispering, and as soon as they see me, they run off.
Phil, I've been meaning to talk to you about that.
Talk to me about what?
Well, actually, it wasn't official until Billy Joe had time to consider his decision, but now he has agreed. So...
Agreed to what?
Now, I don't want you to hit the ceiling about this, Phil. And if you take time to kind of think about it, you'll see it's all for the best. Actually, it'll take a lot of the pressure off.
Damn it, Ben, will you stop the drivel and come to the point?
The sponsors want Billy Joe to co-host the show with you from now on.
What did you say?
I said the sponsors of the show want
I thought
Billy
that's
Joe...
what you said.
Now, don't fly off the
Don't
handle
tell me
about
not to
this, Phil.
fly off the handle! If I find out you had anything to do with this, if you had any part in it at all, I'll see to it personally that you never work for KVIK again or any other station on the Victory Network or anywhere in this country. As far as Billy Joe Wright co-hosting my show, that's never going to happen.
I'm afraid you had no choice in the matter, Phil. It's already been decided.
Oh, has it? Well, we'll see about that. I'll go straight to Vicki Bellman if I have to.
Ben,
Oh, here's the boy wonder himself.
I guess I picked a bad time to talk to you, Ben. I'll come back later.
Not so fast, Billy Joe.
Paige, working yourself up like this isn't going to help anybody.
I can't help it, Elliot.
Well, you have to try.
Every time I think about Iris talking to Mrs. Oliver, I can just see red.
But you have no proof that Iris talked to Mrs. Oliver.
Elliot, do you remember when you came to the hospital waiting room yesterday where Iris and I were talking? And you asked me what Iris said that upset me? Well, she told me that no one would patronize my boutique after they found out what kind of a person I was.
Well, that still doesn't mean that Iris talked to Mrs. Oliver.
Elliot, Iris saw the article in the paper saying that the opening of the boutique was going to go to the charity.
Well, even if it was Iris, there's nothing we can do about it
Oh,
now.
yes, there is. There's something I can do. I'm going to pay Iris a little visit.
Oh, Paige, what good will that do?
At least I can tell her that her little plan is not going to... Elliot, the Orphans Fund was so important to the opening of the boutique. boutique. I have to find a way of establishing myself with a wealthy clientele.
Well, we'll just have to find another charity.
It's no use. Iris will put a stop to that, too.
Well, in that case, I'll go and talk to Iris myself. But the last thing that you should do when you're in this mood is talk to her. It just makes things worse.
Did you talk to the people on the ranch in Colorado, the one Barrett worked at?
Yes, I haven't heard from him. They expect he'll come back, though, because he left most of his clothes there.
Maybe they'll stop there on their way to Montana.
That is, if they go to Montana.
Well, that's what Steve told the filling station man. You know, Kate, I think Barrett had a plan all along. I think he made plans when he even took Steve.
Barrett was always very well organized. He never liked to do things right off the top of his head. And with all the contacts that Cody's made all over the country, someone's bound to spot them soon.
Maybe.
I think Steve will get in touch with you eventually.
Kate, he thinks Ryan and I are in Acapulco for our honeymoon for the next 3 weeks.
Well, then he'll call or write me. You'll see.
Unless Barrett's convinced Steve that I don't love him anymore.
Jimmy, I don't think that's possible.
I hope you're right. I wonder what's keeping Lurleen.
Now, be careful, Ginny. You're being overprotective.
Kate, she's gone through a terrible ordeal.
No. And you've been a great help to her. But she's got to learn to stand on her own 2 feet. Now, you've got to help her do that.
I will. Hi, Lurleen. How's Christopher Columbus doing?
Fine. You want to go see him?
Sure, you want to go right now?
Oh, no. You run along. I want to finish these so you can put them in the book.
Hey, we'll be back soon. Then I'll fix lunch.
Hello there, Christopher Columbus. How are you?
It's all right, Billy Joe. What is it?
Well, it's this. Wardrobe wanted me to wear this today, but I feel more comfortable with what I'm wearing.
Well, just wear your own then.
Oh, by all means, wear whatever makes you feel more comfortable. Wouldn't you be more at home in my jacket, or should I give you the shirt off my back?
Look, I got to go finish getting ready. We're going to tape a couple of those commercials before the show begins.
Hey, Billy Joe.
What is it, Phil?
Well, don't go getting too comfortable in this job. You may not be around too long.
Now, Phil, come on. Leave him alone.
Look, I don't want to fight.
I know what you want, Billy Joe. You want my job. Well, you're not going to have it. I'm not going to let some two-bit little twerp waltz in here and take my job away from me without a fight.
Don't you ever call me that word again, you understand? And as far as your show concerned, I don't want any part of you or your lousy show.
Billy Joe.
You've been on my back since the first day I came in here. You and your ego. Well, I've had it up to here. You go find yourself another co-host. Because I quit.
Billy Joe! You just better hope he doesn't mean that. Because we need him on this show. Before he and Ricky Decker came along, Phil Roberts was about to be canceled. If we lose Billy Joe, you can just kiss this show goodbye.
Well, that's just fine with me. Because if Billy Joe Wright co-hosts my show, it's going to be over my dead body. Or on second thought, over his dead body.
How's Dennis, Mr. Carrington?
He's doing better, Vivian.
I wanted to go and visit him at the hospital, but Mrs. Wheeler says it's better I should wait.
Well, I guess she's right, Vivian, at least for a while.
So I made some Toll House cookies for him because those are his favorite. I was wondering if you would take them for me.
I'd be glad to.
I'm sorry about what happened at the Top of the World Club the other night. I hope you're not mad at Mrs. Wheeler. She was trying to do what was the best for Dennis.
I wish I could believe that, but I'm not sure that I do.
Mrs. Wheeler told him from the very beginning she was against him showing that film.
Well, then why on earth did she go along with it?
Because I knew that was the only way I could get my hands on the film. If I had refused him, he'd only have found another way to show it.
I'm gonna go get those cookies now.
Which is exactly what he did.
Well, if you'd told me what was going on, I could have stopped him.
I thought I had everything under control. I didn't know he had another copy of the film.
Iris, I didn't come here to talk about the porno film.
Thank goodness for that. None of this would have happened at all if you hadn't taken up with that tramp Paige.
And I didn't come here to listen to you insult Paige.
Well, then why did you come here,
I
Elliot?
came to ask if you know a woman named Edith Oliver.
Oh, of course I know Edith Oliver. She's from one of the oldest families in Houston.
Did you ask her to withdraw the support of the Orphans Fund charity from the opening of Paige's boutique?
So Rita called and said she's coming out to the ranch. We're going to go riding this afternoon. Would you like to come with us?
I'd love to, but is she going to be able to get off?
Oh, she said she was going to try. And even if she can't, you and I can go by ourselves, okay?
Okay.
So where is this Christopher Columbus?
Well, there's no telling. He's so frisky, he could be anywhere.
Oh, honey, you left your jacket over here.
Where Max used to hang it when he was working.
You really miss him, don't you?
Everybody does. People like Max don't come along too often.
I know.
Well, the kitten was here when I left him.
Let me go look up here. Maybe it's over here.
Where are you, Christopher Columbus? Now, I can't understand why Miss Edgar rejected him. He was the cutest kitten in the litter. He was so healthy and strong.
Sounds to me as if you'd like Miss Kate to keep him up at the house.
Jenny.
Did you find him?
No. No.
Eileen. Honey, what is it?
He's dead. The kitten's dead.
Well, of course I told Edith not to sponsor the opening of Paige's boutique.
Why did you do that?
Why? Isn't that obvious? Edith is a friend of mine. I'd never forgive myself if I allowed her to become involved with a woman of Paige Marshall's caliber.
Iris, I'm giving you fair warning.
Oh, warn me all you like, Elliot. I'm not going to let my friends be used by that woman.
Paige has put a great deal of money into this boutique. It is very important to her.
And the Orphans Fund is very important to Edith Oliver. She has been chairman of the committee for 15 years. I think she would find it very difficult to raise funds when word got around that she was involved with the likes of Paige.
Just what did you tell Mrs. Oliver about Paige?
Oh, don't worry. I did not mention the porno film.
I asked you what you told her.
I told Edith that Paige had worked for me at the Top of the World Club, and that I'd found her to associate with, shall we say, unsavory types.
Go on.
Well, of course, I had to tell her that Paige had lived with Peter Parnell, who was arrested for trafficking in drugs, murdering a man named Stokes, and my husband.
I can't believe you've really done this.
You cannot deny it's all true, Elliot. Every word of it.
I can't believe you were once my wife.
Our marriage is something I prefer to forget when I see you carrying on with Paige.
Paige has made mistakes, Iris. God knows we all have. But her mistakes are behind her. She's doing her best to build a new life. You have no right to tear that down.
I have no objection to Paige's building a new life, provided she does it someplace other than Houston.
Is that Mr. Carrington? He left. I didn't give him these cookies.
I love that little kitten.
I know, honey. I know you did.
Why did he have to die? He was so happy, so healthy.
Here, Lurleen. I made some tea for you.
The kitten was fine when I left him. He was chasing a moth around the stable.
Lurleen, maybe he wasn't well. You know, nature has a way of dealing with these things. Even the mother rejected it.
It wasn't sick. I know that kitten was fine. His eyes were too bright for him to have been sick.
Well, maybe one of the horses kicked him.
When the horses were out in the pasture, they couldn't have killed him.
Honey, guys knows more about animals than almost any vet. He's going to figure it out for you.
I have to bury the kitten.
No. Guy's going to do that for you, remember? Come on, sweetheart, don't cry.
I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm carrying on like this. Please forgive me.
I forgive you because you lost something you loved. You don't have to apologize.
No.
Just got over that incident with Bubba, and now the kitten.
The kitten made me forget about Bubba.
Honey, maybe you shouldn't just forget about Bubba. You have to face it and sort out your feelings.
I can't. I just can't.
Okay. All right, I won't pressure you.
Lorraine, honey, why don't you go wash your face with cold water? That'll make you feel better.
I want to lie down.
Come on. Get everything?
Everything an alcoholic's heart could desire.
Good. Listen, there's been a little shake-up around here, but I think it's going to play right into our hands. I'll tell you about it later. Oh, gotta go. Remember, at 4 o'clock, split. Hi.
What do you want?
I just talked to Billy Joe. He's going to do the show.
Remind me to order you a medal.
Look, I hope you don't think I had anything to do with him getting asked to be co-host.
You really want to know what I think?
Sure.
I think I'm going to regret the day you came in here with those balloons in your hand for the rest of my life.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Because I really resent what they're doing to you around here.
Oh, I can imagine.
It's true. As a matter of fact, I was going to offer you my help.
I can do without your kind of help, Ruby.
I don't think you can.
Try me.
Well, if you really want to know the truth, I need your help too, Phil.
Oh, please. This is where we came in.
You don't understand. I don't think Billy Joe is capable of this job. It's way out of his league. He's not a talker like you are. He doesn't have your charm. Doesn't have your looks. Billy Joe's, well, he's kind of homespun.
Why don't you save your sales pitch for somebody else?
I think Billy Joe's biting off more than he can chew. Listen, I would much rather see Billy Joe appear on the show twice a week and have the show stay on the air than to have him co-host the show and have it fail.
That's what you think would happen.
Of course it is. This isn't Billy Joe's kind of thing. You remember what happened the first day he was here at KVIK? He didn't even want to go on the air. And you got to remember that 10% out of what Billy Joe makes goes to me, right? Well, 10% of nothing is nothing. And that is exactly what I'm going to end up with if Billy Joe gets to co-host the show and it goes off the air.
Well, you got a point there.
And I got Ricky to consider. Now, he's starting to do real well. He really needs this job.
So what are you suggesting?
Well, I'm suggesting that the two of us get together for a little powwow after the show.
Oh, like last night, huh?
Oh, I'm sorry about last night. At least I'm sorry that your wife walked in on us. But I've got a place we can go where nobody's going to walk in on us. If you're interested.
Where'd you get this motel room?
From a friend.
I bet you've got plenty of friends, too.
I got a couple. I think it's important to have friends. How about a drink?
No, thanks, not for me. I'd just like to get right down to business.
You don't mind if I have one, do you? I need to unwind a little bit.
No, you go right ahead.
What kind of business are you talking about?
You sure are something, Ruby, right?
Sorry about your wife walking in on us.
Not half as sorry as I am. I was dumb. That was real stupid of me. Right there in the studio, I don't know what I was thinking about.
That's why I thought we could come here. If you know what I mean.
I got a pretty good idea.
Well, here's to the Phil Roberts show. And particularly to Phil Roberts.
You're one hell of an attractive girl, Ruby, right?
You know, I think before we go any farther with this, we ought to settle our other business first. Otherwise, we might never get down to it.
Well, you're probably right.
I think Billy Joe's co-hosting the show today was a disaster.
Well, I swear, Ruby, that brother of yours is going to tear my show right down to the bottom.
Only if we let him.
Well, there's no way we can stop him now. You heard what Ben said. Everybody at the TV station thinks he's the next Johnny Carson.
We just have to find some way to make people not believe that.
Well, what do you propose we do?
Well,
I'll tell you, Ruby. I built that show up right from the bottom. When I began, we were on only at 6 o'clock in the morning, and the only audience we had was farmers slurping coffee. I made that show what it is. The top-rated show on KVIK.
And you will again.
Nobody's going to take it away from me without a fight.
Of course they won't.
I mean it. I'll do anything. Anything. To keep your brother from taking that show away from me.
And I'm going to help you. First, you've got to calm down. You've got to take it easy.
Calm down? How am I going to calm down? Every time I think about it, I see red.
What you need is a good, stiff drink.
Yeah, I'll go over these tonight then, okay? Hey, Mr. Carrington.
Hello.
How's the news department holding up these days?
Oh, it's all right. I hear the ratings are still climbing on the Phil Roberts show.
Well, they haven't been doing too bad.
What can I do for you, Elliot?
Well, I have a favor to ask you, Ben. I have a friend who's opening a shop in the Galleria, a high-fashion boutique.
And you want me to model for her?
Well, not quite. I was wondering if you might be able to work her onto Phil's show sometime soon.
Well, you're talking about Mrs. Carrington.
Right.
Mrs. Carrington?
Oh, the woman we're talking about was married to my son, Dennis.
Oh, yeah, I remember reading about him in the papers. That murder business that Dennis was arrested
Page's
for.
arrest was a mistake, just as Dennis's was.
Mrs. Carrington is one great lady. You'd like her a lot, Ben. I mean, she'd be great for the show.
Well, how soon do you need to have her on?
Well, it really needs to be in the next 3 or 4 days if it's going to do any real good.
I just don't know.
Well, would it help for me to talk to Phil?
Well, you see, that's just the problem. You see, Phil's not in any mood to talk to anybody about anything right now. There have been a couple of changes on the show, and he's not very happy about it.
Oh, I see. Well, I don't want to make life difficult for you, but this is really very important to me.
Well, I'll do the best I can, but I can't make any promises.
I understand completely. I'll appreciate whatever you can do.
Okay, you got it.
Good.
I'll check with Phil tomorrow, see what kind of mood he's in, and I'll get back to you right away.
Good. Thanks, Ben.
Billy Joe, we can go over these commercials a couple of times before we tape them tomorrow.
Oh, sure,
Okay.
fine. Has Paige run into some trouble at the boutique?
Yeah, she has. I just hope it's something we can remedy. I just have to find a way to help her.
Oh. How's Nita been doing helping around the shop?
Oh, she seems to be thriving on it. Paige says she couldn't have done it without her.
Did you know that they made me co-host the Phil Roberts show today?
No, I did. Well, congratulations. I think that's great.
Well, thank you very much. The reason I'm bringing it up is I think I just might be able to help Paige get on the show.
Oh, what do you want? I'm sure this is not a social call.
I want to get several things straight with you.
Oh, I already got the message from Mrs. Oliver. Thank you, if that's what you're referring to.
Elliot just paid me a visit. His concern for you is touching. He wanted to know if I was the one who convinced Edith not to sponsor the opening of your boutique. Oh, before you say anything, let me assure you that it most definitely was I. Just in case there was any lingering doubt in your little mind.
Oh, I didn't have any doubts whatsoever, Iris. It's exactly the kind of cheap shot that I expect from you. It had your stamp all over it.
But it wasn't a cheap shot. It was very open and above board, which is what I'm being with you now, Paige. I don't want to keep it a secret from you or anyone else.
There are other charities besides the Orphans Fund. Actually, it was their loss, not mine.
Yes, there are other charities. But unfortunately, most of them are headed by friends of mine, or Edith's. I don't think you'll have much success with them.
We'll see about that.
I'd like to make a suggestion. Why don't you just throw in the towel now and save everyone a great deal of trouble?
You'd really like that, wouldn't you, Iris?
Very much.
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you. I have no intention of giving up. I've invested a great deal of money in this boutique, actually, everything I own in the world. Not you, nor Edith Oliver, nor all of the wealthy phonies in Houston are going to stop me on this one, Iris, because I'm going to make it work.
We'll see about that. I think you're overestimating yourself. You're going to pay for what you did to my son.
I already paid for that.
The price wasn't high enough. I told you before, I want you out of Houston, and I'm not going to stop until you're gone. You're going to lose everything with this boutique, Paige. I'll see to that. Mark my words, honey.
How's Lurleen?
Well, she has a bad headache, so I gave her a couple aspirin.
Well, you know, Doc Williams said it was a slight concussion. She's been doing too much.
I know. I think if she gets some rest, she'll feel a lot better.
Hey, did you talk to Guy?
Yes. You know, he said that he thought the kitten had gotten caught in the hay and suffocated. There were no marks on it, so one of the horses couldn't have kicked it.
Maybe we can somehow get Lurleen interested in another kitten.
Well, maybe. These ought to keep her busy.
Did you find any other pictures of people that you didn't recognize?
A few.
Well, you better get Judge Rayburn out here real quick for supper.
That's exactly what I'm planning to do. Did you talk to Rena?
Yes, she said she had lunch with a friend of hers who owns a shop in the Galleria, and that Paige has been planning this new boutique, and she was telling them she had some very big plans.
Justin and Paige are two of a kind when it comes to big ideas.
How do you think Justin will do with Marshall Oil?
Well, if he decides to run an honest business, he should do all right.
He didn't run an honest business when he was head of the production division at World Oil.
No, and now he's bought a big yacht. I don't know where it'll end. You know, he's got himself in over his head before he's even started.
Well, if Paige does well with this boutique of hers, maybe she can lend Justin the money.
Oh, hello, Lurleen.
How you feeling?
Better.
Good. Honey, Doc Williams said you should rest. You've been doing too much.
I'm okay.
You still have a headache?
No. I left Max's jacket down at the stable. I have to go get it.
Well, I'll go with you.
It's okay. I can go by myself.
All right.
Well, you were right about Iris. She was responsible for Mrs. Oliver's withdrawing from the opening.
I know.
What do you mean you know?
Well, she insisted on taking the credit herself.
You mean she was here?
Oh, yes. Just missed her.
Oh, well, good. What did she say?
Oh, the usual. She wants me out of Dennis's life, and she wants me out of Houston. It's beginning to sound like a stuck record.
You know, I think Iris knows a great many influential people in Houston, but I don't think she's as powerful as she thinks she is. Did you have any success getting any of the other charities to back the opening?
I called several, but I'm not going to have any answers until tomorrow.
I stopped by the studio on the way back to check on things. I had an idea.
What?
Well, I talked to the producer of the Phil Roberts show about the possibility of you going on as a guest.
On television?
Yeah, to talk about the boutique. It'd be great for publicity.
I don't know, Elliot. The thought of going on a television show makes me a little nervous. But I'll do it if it'll make the place a success.
Good.
Well, what did the producer say?
Well, he didn't give me a definite answer. He said he would talk to Phil Roberts in the morning and get back to me.
You're the only one who really understands me, Ruby. The only one.
Of course, I understand you. You're the most brilliant, talented, handsome man I've ever met in my whole life. You have a flair that nobody else has. Want me to freshen up your drink a little bit?
Yeah, just a little, yeah.
Just a little.
Oh, that's enough. You don't want to overdo it.
It's not a flair. No. It's charisma. That's what it is.
Yeah? You really think so? I guess I do, don't I? I guess I got charisma.
Don't you worry about a thing, honey. Ruby's gonna take good care of you. You just leave everything to me.
Was that Ryan on the phone?
Yes. The Colorado Highway Patrol has spotted Barrett's car just outside of Denver. They're double-checking now, and they're going to call us back as soon as they know anything.
Maybe Barry and Steve will head back to that ranch.
Well, I don't know. They're going to... Ryan's called the ranch and alerted them, so they're going to call us if the Barrett shows up.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah. I know, but I just don't want to get too excited because I'll be disappointed, so I haven't even made reservations for Denver yet until I'm sure that they show up there.
That's sensible.
And besides, Rena told us that we could use Stryker's airplane anytime we wanted to. Is Lurleen back yet?
No, stop worrying. She'll be all right.
Hello? Hello, Jenny? Miss Kay? Who is this? Hello? Hello?
Honey, look who's here.
Oh, hi, Rena. How you doing, huh?
I'm doing just fine. How about you?
Oh, no complaints. How come you're not wheeling and dealing over World Oil?
Tomorrow I wheel and deal. Right now I'm waiting for some titles to be cleared on the land I want to buy. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot I can do until the title search is completed. Oh, what am I telling you that for? You know about all those things. Where is the land? Mississippi. Oh, by the way, I talked to someone yesterday who said that Bubba Wadsworth is in Jackson. He's checking on some land that he's trying to buy.
Well, if he gets convicted for attempted rape, he's going to have to do his wheeling and dealing from jail.
Do you really think that he'll be convicted?
Oh, I doubt it. For one thing, his lawyer's going to delay the trial for as long as possible. 9 months, a year, maybe even longer. And it's going to come down to Bubba's word against Lurleen's. I'm not too optimistic about it.
Honey, don't tell Lurleen that.
No, I won't.
How's Lurleen this morning?
She's a little better. She's calmer. She's upstairs right now talking to Kate. She should be down soon.
If you don't feel like doing this, Lurleen.
I want to.
Well, honey, if you get tired or bored, just put it all away.
I feel fine, Miss Kate. You know, Granddaddy told me about a lot of the people in these pictures. It's
Especially Mr. Marshall. Granddaddy really admired him.
Everybody in Texas admired Mr. Marshall, including me.
He was a handsome man.
You know, your face looks much better today, dear. Swelling's gone down, and that's not as discolored as it was yesterday.
It hardly hurts anymore.
How's your headache?
It's not as bad today. I'm really sorry about going to pieces when I found my cat dead yesterday.
Oh, honey, don't apologize.
I can't understand what happened to it. He seemed so strong and healthy to me.
Well, now, Guy said that he thought maybe the little kitten crawled in under the hay and was smothered.
It was probably my fault.
No. No, now, it wasn't anyone's fault. Don't think like that. It's all right.
Where did you get this?
It's a detective story. One of the cops outside gave it to me.
Well, that was nice of him.
Yeah, I'm getting to know those cops who guard the door pretty good. I figure they'll throw me a going-away party when they cart me off to prison. I'm sorry, I know that wasn't funny. What you thinking about?
Joe, I want you to talk to my brother Ricky.
Hey, I thought you were on your way to the station when you left this morning.
Oh, I was, but then I remembered I wanted to get myself a thermos of coffee to take with me. I can't drink one more cup of that awful stuff from the commissary.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. What are you doing here?
Well, I stopped at the diner, you know, down the street from the apartment to get the coffee, and I forgot to ask him for sugar, so I came over to the coop and got some sugar here. See, Roy always keeps it under his bar.
You don't have to lie to me, Ruby. I know exactly what you're doing.
You do?
Yeah. I'm not in such a hurry to get to KVIK either, not after what you told me happened yesterday.
Oh, you mean about, Phil going on the rampage because Billy Joe was made co-host?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might need a drink myself if I have to deal with Phil Roberts.
Yeah, things were pretty wild last night. He was pretty crazy.
Well, I bet they won't be much different today.
You know, I have the feeling you're right.
Dave, all you gotta do is keep Phil in focus. Forget the artsy stuff. Your job is to get the shot the director wants. I don't want to have to come down here every day,
Pardon
every
me,
3
Dave.
days. Yes, Millie. What is it?
Have you seen Phil yet this morning?
No, I haven't. Why?
I just passed makeup. They have their work cut out for them today.
What do you mean?
I think Phil's hitting the sauce again.
Did Ginny tell you about Lurlene's kitten dying?
Yes. Poor thing. She used that kitten to try to forget about her incident with Bubba.
I just wish she'd deal with what really happened. She keeps trying to ignore it. She's never going to be able to come to terms with anything.
I keep talking to her about it, but she doesn't even want to think about it. She'll talk when she's ready to. I just don't want to push her.
But someone has to convince her not to feel guilty. She just has to understand that it's not her fault that Bubba tried to rape her.
I've told her that over and over again.
But she doesn't believe it.
Well, not yet.
Look, I think she needs some professional help, a counseling service.
Ryan, if she won't talk to Ginny about her feelings, she's certainly not going to talk to someone she doesn't even know.
Well, I think she'll be more open with someone who's been through the same experience.
I've tried to talk to her about it, but she won't talk.
There's no telling what her attitude's going to be towards men now. I'd hate if she was terrified of every man she met and afraid to have a relationship.
Ryan, I won't let that happen.
Hi, Kate. Hello, Rita.
Hello, darling.
Are you surviving without having Justin underfoot?
I'm just doing fine. He called me last night from the yacht.
Oh, well, that was nice. How's the little mother-to-be?
Well, Ashley is fine. Are you enjoying being a businesswoman?
So far, so good. You don't approve, do you?
Not of your being in the oil business, no. But if it makes you happy, that's what's important.
Kate, would you like a cup of coffee?
No, thank you. I think I'll go on over to Buddy and Wanda's. I may even stay for lunch, all right?
Oh, okay. We're going to go riding.
All right. See y'all later.
Bye-bye.
Dope.
You know, Lurleen has really grown attached to that Max's jacket, the one that you gave her. I think she thinks of it as a security blanket.
I can certainly understand that. Felt the same way about Max's red flannel shirt.
I know.
I found it the other day at the cabin. Did you take it over there?
Yes?
Rena, do you still feel that you need it?
I didn't think so. But I'm not so sure now.
Honey, you went to your first party the other night. You're just in the process of starting a new job. I think you're doing terrific.
How was the party? Did you have fun?
No. I kept thinking about Max. Margaret Hanson asked me to be on her interview show.
You didn't tell me that.
She called today to confirm the taping.
Mean you accepted?
I certainly did. I intend to tell everyone in Houston how Justin framed you.
Elaine, I don't understand. Why you want me to talk to your brother Ricky?
Because he was a sheriff's deputy once, and he knows how important it is for you to have a good lawyer.
Oh, let's not start on that again. The state's going to get me a lawyer, that's going to be fine.
No, it's not going to be fine, Joe. Now, you don't even necessarily know you're going to get a good lawyer.
It doesn't matter what kind of lawyer I get. They're going to send me up the river no matter what kind of defense I have.
I don't believe that.
Well, it's true.
No. Joe, if you put up a good fight and you have a good lawyer representing you, then you've got a chance.
Elena, I killed a man.
That was an accident.
They won't care. When it comes to people like me, from my background, they never do.
Don't say that.
I'm a nobody.
Joe, please. Please. Just talk to Ricky.
Okay. If it'll make you happy, I'll talk to Ricky.
Phil, are you okay?
I'm fine.
You don't look fine.
How am I supposed to look? The day after you took half my show away from me and gave it to some moron who hadn't set foot inside a TV station until a little more than a month ago.
Billy Joe Wright is not a moron.
I don't want to hear about it.
Have you been drinking?
Well, you crazy? Of course not. I think I'm coming down with something.
I gotta know the truth, Phil.
Well, that is the truth. If you don't stop bugging me, I'm going to pick you up by that scrawny little physique and eject you from the studio.
I'm only trying to help you, Phil.
Oh, yeah. You were a big help yesterday when you gave half my show away to Billy Joe Wright. That kind of help I don't need.
I was only thinking of the show, Phil. You know, it means as much to me as it does to you. I am the producer of the show, don't forget.
I wish I could forget.
You know, I'm going to go and call Joan, and I'm going to ask her if you've been drinking.
Please be my guest. Call my wife. Just leave me alone. Leave me in peace.
Phil, if you'd just be honest with me, we could do something about it.
I told you to leave me alone.
We could get you back into Longview Sanitarium.
Oh, no, yeah, and give Billy Joe Wright the whole show then, huh? No, I'm not going back to Longview Sanitarium or anywhere else. I'm going to stay right here, and not you or the boy wonder Billy Joe Wright or Vicki Bellman herself is going to get rid of Phil Roberts until he's good and ready to go.
Well, I guess I better get going over to KVIK. Can't put it off any longer.
You and Ben still working out the details to Billy Joe's new contract?
Yeah, well, that's what we're going to do today.
Billy Joe's going to be making a small fortune now.
With me as his manager, he will. Hey, big brother.
Morning.
I was just getting ready to go over to KVIK to iron out the final details of your contract.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about that the other night. Right after the show, but I couldn't find you. Where'd you disappear to, anyway?
What does Vicky think about your appearing on Margaret Hanson's show?
Naturally, she's not very happy about it.
I'm not either.
I think it's a terrific idea. So do I.
Well, you be careful with Margaret. She's very clever, and she's a real pro, so don't tangle with her.
All I'm going to do is answer her questions and tell everyone how she manipulated the press to help Justin ruin you.
Oh, come on, Rena. It's over. Just forget it.
Ryan, how can you say that? What about all those people who still think that you misuse company funds? Don't you care about whether they know the truth or not? I certainly care.
Yes, I care about my friends. They know the truth. The rest, it just doesn't matter.
Well, I personally don't like seeing you being railroaded out of the office. And I'm going to set the record straight.
You cannot accuse Justin of framing me. You have no proof.
I'll be subtle, okay? Just look for the right opportunity. Hmm?
I don't like it, Rena. I think you should call Margaret. I think you should tell her that you're having a business in Fort Worth or someplace, but just stay away from her.
I can handle Margaret.
At least you know how I feel, don't you? Let's go riding, huh?
Okay. I'll go get Lurleen. Talked to Cody today. He told me that Barrett and Steve were spotted just outside of Denver, but they disappeared again. Ryan, I just have this feeling that Steve is going to call someone and find out how Ginny is.
Kate does, too. I sure hope for Ginny's sake he does.
How's the family photograph album coming along?
Fine. It's really fascinating going through all these old pictures. Look at this one of Miss Kate.
Oh, it's lovely.
Look at the dress she was wearing. I'd love to have been a girl back when Miss Kate was. Clothes were so beautiful.
You know, I think that Kate has some of these dresses upstairs in the attic. We should go take a look at them. Maybe we could find one that we could alter for you to wear.
You know, I saw a picture of my mother and father on their wedding day. Mama had a dress like this.
Maybe you can have a dress like that on your wedding day.
I'll never get married, Jenny.
Honey, of course you will. Some nice young man will come along. Maybe someone like Caleb. You know, he called twice this morning. Why don't you talk to him?
He knows what Bubba tried to do to me.
Yes, and I know that he wants to help you.
I can't talk to him about this, Jenny. And I don't want to see him anymore either.
Honey, I think Caleb would be very understanding. You two have known each other for a long time. I mean, you've gone out a lot, you've spent time together.
He asked me to spend the night with him last week. But I told him I wasn't ready to commit myself to anyone that way.
What did Caleb say?
He told me he'd wait till I was ready. But now he's going to think I lied to him. That I was more interested in Bubba than him. That I led Bubba on and then changed my mind.
I don't think Caleb will think that.
Yes, he will. Honey.
Caleb knows what kind of person Bubba Wadsworth is. But more importantly, he knows what kind of person you are. I know he cares a great deal about you. Just give him a chance to prove himself.
Suppose you're wrong about the way he feels.
Well, I don't think I am, but you're not going to know that unless you talk to him. Or take his call the next time it comes. You know, all men are not mean and vicious like Bubba Wadsworth.
Bubba thinks I'm trash.
Well, you know that's not true. Please, talk to Caleb when he calls. Okay?
Okay.
Good. Now, Rita's downstairs, and we're going to go riding. Why don't you come with us?
I want to work on the album.
Well, you can do that later.
No, you go on, okay? I have some thinking to do.
Will you be all right?
I'll be fine.
Yeah, I thought you said you were here at the coop last night.
Well, I was. At least I was later.
Well, how much later? I mean, I called you not long after the show, and Roy said he couldn't find you anywhere.
Oh. Well, I guess I might as well confess, seeing as how it's all going to come out sooner or later anyway.
What's going to come out sooner or later?
Last night I was with a man from a record company trying to make a record deal for Ricky.
What record company?
I'd rather not say.
Well, why not?
Well, you know, the deal is brand new. We just started working it out, and I don't want to jinx it by talking about it. But I can say this. By this time next year, you should be well on your way to being one of the hottest recording stars in the entire country.
If the deal goes through.
It will.
That's great.
I know. Both of my clients are starting to rake in the dough. I think we should have a little celebration.
Right now?
No, tonight. Right now, I think we should go over to KVIK and sign those contracts. You ready?
Sure, let's go.
Hey, don't forget you're singing tonight.
Oh, no, I'll see you over there later.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Billy Joe.
Elena?
Hi, Lena.
Hey, Elena.
Hi, Ricky.
I'm really surprised to see you here. How are you?
Well, I'm okay. Billy Joe and Ruby are sure off somewhere in a hurry.
Yeah, Billy Joe was just made the new co-host of the Phil Roberts show. They're on the way over to sign the contracts.
Oh, that's terrific. Does he start right away?
Well, I think he's on today's show. Oh, and Ruby just said she's working on a record deal for me.
That's wonderful.
Did you just come from the hospital?
Mm-hmm.
How's Joe?
He's all right. He doesn't want me to get a lawyer for him, Ricky.
Honey, that's his prerogative, isn't it?
Will you talk to him for me?
Hello, Bo. I'm sorry it took me so long to call you.
Expect you to stop by the motel here this morning, Ruby. Thought it'd be a real nice way to start the day.
Yeah, well, I had a lot to do this morning.
Yeah? Where you calling from, the coop?
No, I couldn't call you from there. Ricky came by.
Well, I guess I'll just have to visit you over there at KVIK. Seems like that's the only way I'm ever going to be able to see my wife.
Oh, you can't do that. Ricky's on the show today.
I want to see you, Ruby.
Well, you can see me later.
Oh, yeah? When?
After the show.
What if you have to go with that Phil Roberts again?
Not a chance that's going to happen.
Why not?
Because after I finish with him today, he's not going to feel like going anywhere with anybody.
Have you seen him yet today?
No, I think he's in the office. But I heard a wardrobe lady talking about him. Sounds like he's in pretty bad shape.
Now, isn't that just too bad?
Oh, yes, it is. And I got the perfect thing to perk him up. A thermos full of Ruby's special coffee.
Joe, this is my brother Ricky. Ricky, this is Joe Foster.
Hello?
Well, I guess I'll go wait outside in the corridor while you two talk.
You're not going away.
No, I'll be right outside. I'll see you later.
She's one great lady, your sister.
So, I finally get to meet the guy who shot me.
I could apologize, but I guess I wouldn't do too much good at this point.
Not much.
Would you have shot me too if you'd had a gun?
Probably.
Why'd you agree to come here?
I wanted to see what kind of man my sister was in love with.
And?
Frankly, I don't know what she sees in you.
That makes two of us.
If they send you to prison, it's going to break Elena's heart. You know that, don't you?
You mean when they send me to prison, don't you?
Well, it's always possible they might get you off.
You really believe that?
Stranger things have happened. Like me standing here talking to the man who shot me.
Yeah?
And don't forget, Pete Parnell took the rap for that Bernie Stokes murder, and your killing Chris Shaw is supposed to be an accident. Or so you say.
It was.
So there's the kidnapping of Elena and the shooting of me. Elena says you saved her life on 2 occasions. So I guess a really good lawyer might just be able to get you off. Not that I want to see that.
You should be telling that to her, not me. Because someone's got to convince her that I'm not worth the trouble. She's better off without me.
That's Caleb. Well, I told Jenny I'd talk to him. Maybe he'll hang up. Marshall Ranch.
Hello there, Laureline. How are you?
Bubba?
Now, don't you hang up on me. You and I got a little talking to do, sugar. I know you're all alone down to the ranch. You hang up on me while I come down there and talk to you in person.
Where are you? You're supposed to be in Mississippi.
Pretty smart, huh? Everybody in Houston thinks I left town.
What do you want?
Well, first of all, I want to tell you how sorry I am about your kitten. I didn't want to kill it. But see, I had to teach you a lesson. Now, if you don't give me what I want, you're gonna end up just like that little kitten. Are you there, Lurleen? I want you to talk to me. I want to know that you hear every word I'm telling you. And I want to know that you're sorry about them lies you told that got me arrested.
They weren't lies.
I'm going to make you pay for it. I'm waiting, and I'm watching, and I'm going to make you pay. Now you think on that, little lady. You say anything about this telephone call? Well, you just better not. Because remember, I'm watching.
Hi, Lilene. Honey, what's the matter? Who's on the phone? Was it Barrett or Steve? Hello? No. Lilene? Lilene!
You never know what life's gonna throw in front of you. A lot of things can happen. Now, I can't give you a wedding ring. There's something I want you to have.
Joe.
I want you to have it. I can't ask you to be my wife. But I just want you to think of me when you wear it. That's all I ask.
Dr. Weber, 894. Did you talk to him?
Elena, you can't make a guy like that defend himself if he doesn't want to.
Well, did you talk to him about how important...
Yeah, we talked.
And you didn't get anywhere with him?
Not really.
Well, maybe he'll change his mind or something. You think there's a chance of that?
I don't think so. Then again, maybe we can.
If you talk to him, maybe that'll help him change his mind.
Well, I don't know about that.
Ricky, if they send him to prison, I don't know what I'll do.
You really love him, don't you?
He loves me too.
Yeah, he does.
Hello, Phil.
Hello, Ruby.
How you feeling?
Oh, not so good. I think I'm coming down with a cold or something.
You don't look like it. You look fine.
Well, I don't feel fine.
You know, we never got around to discussing our plans about getting rid of Billy Joe as co-host of the show.
We didn't?
Mm-mm. Don't you remember? After you called your wife, you fell asleep.
Call my what? Oh, yeah. No, I remember. Yeah, I remember.
So I was wondering if maybe tonight after the show we could get together and we could talk about my plans a little more.
Sure. No, I don't think so, Ruby. I can't talk right now. I gotta go over these bios of guests on the show, and later maybe. I can't concentrate.
Well, it's no wonder. After the way they've been treating you, don't you worry about that. We're gonna fix everything. By the time we're through, everybody from Vicki Bellman on down is gonna know how important you are to this show.
Not anybody's going to know anything unless I make it through this show, and I don't think I'm going to make it through this show.
Oh, of course you're gonna make it. You're gonna be fine. But just come down over here and try to sit down and relax. I got the perfect thing for you.
What's that?
It's coffee.
Well, coffee's not going to do me any good now.
This coffee will.
Welcome back. This afternoon, we're very pleased to have one of this nation's foremost authors of children's books, a woman whose name has become a household word in household word in homes all over this country, Mrs. Bobo Wanamaker.
BB.
What's that? Oh, of course, BB. Mrs. Wanamaker has agreed to talk to us this afternoon on the occasion of the publication of her 10th novel, Toadstool Revisited.
That's Toad Hall.
Are you going to run this show or mine?
Phil's just joking with you, Mrs. Wanamaker. Of course, he knows every one of your novels by name. As a matter of fact, Phil was just telling me the other day. He said, you know, he's been a B.B. Wanamaker fan for years now.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we just had a little argument, though, because Phil says that Toad Hall is one of your best books, if not the best. And, of course, my personal favorite happens to be the Priceless Princess.
A Priceless Princess is a real gem.
Yeah, it is. As a matter of fact, I love all your books. As a matter of fact, I think you're the only author who could make all those fairy tales seem real. As a matter of fact, just as real as all them people I grew up back in Waco with.
Really? I'm delighted to hear that.
Tell me, Miss Wanamaker, how is that you got started writing children's books?
Yeah, tell us. No, don't turn your back to me. I'm still one of the hosts of this show.
Well, I started writing children's books 15 years ago. My daughter, who was 8 at the time, was home with the flu. So I just started making up this little story.
I don't believe this is happening.
Well, you better believe it because it's happening.
She asked me to write it down so she can have it with her always.
That seems like a real sweet story.
Yeah, it is. Sweet.
So, was this the book that launched your career?
This is Ben.
Yeah, I want you to call Joan Roberts. I want you to get her down here right away. That's right, Phil's wife.
Yeah. She read it to her schoolmates and her teacher. Oh, yeah? How's that? Well, really, a most extraordinary thing happened.
Let's get to the point, will you? We don't have all day.
Phil, she's just kidding with you again, Mrs. Wanamaker.
I thought you wanted to hear your brother sing.
Looks like Phil Roberts is drunk. So, what'd you think of my brother?
Well, for a guy who must hate my guts, he was pretty nice.
He doesn't hate you.
I wouldn't bet on that if I were you.
He said he didn't get anywhere with you.
You mean by getting a lawyer?
Mm-hmm. He said you were very stubborn and that you were going to stick with the one that the state appointed to handle your case.
That's right. I'm not going to have you throwing your money away on a lawyer.
Joe, I wouldn't be throwing my money away.
I don't want you spending money on me.
I wouldn't just be spending it on you. It'd be on us.
Elena, there's not going to be any us. When are you going to understand that?
Don't say that.
I'm only saying it because it's true. I'm a criminal. For the next 20 years, I'm going to be in prison. And I don't want you throwing your life away on me.
I'm going to stick by you, Joe. And there's nothing you can do to stop me from that.
Oh, yes, there is. I refuse to see you. You're going to have to forget about me.
How can I forget about the man who asked me to be the mother of his children? Tell me that, will you, Joe?
Oh, Elena.
We were going to go to Mexico. We were going to have that little white adobe house with the big yard so our kids could run around and play in it. Am I supposed to forget about all that?
Yeah.
Elaine, who was on the phone? It was Bubba, wasn't it?
I can't talk about it.
Honey, if he called and frightened you...
He is not going to frighten me anymore. I'm going to find that man and I'm going to kill him.
No, that's not the solution, Elaine.
It's the only way to stop him.
No, it's not. Let me have the gun, please.
It's mine.
I know. Let me have the gun. Honey! Look, I know you're scared, but you're going to get yourself killed.
He killed the kitten. Bubba killed the kitten and he's going to do the same thing to me.
No. We won't let him hurt you, I promise.
Bubba's in Mississippi.
He's not in Mississippi. He's right here in Texas. He's in Houston and he's watching me.
Honey, you're safe here with us.
I'm not safe. I'm not safe anywhere.
Yes, you are. Bubba can't hurt you as long as one of us is with you.
Let me have the gun, please.
I have to find him. I have to find him.
Ryan's going to take the gun, and he's going to call the sheriff.
Why did he have to kill the kitten? Why?
I don't know. I don't know, but the sheriff's going to find Bubba. They're going to arrest him and put him in jail. And he's never going to be able to frighten you or hurt you again.
I want to talk to you, Phil. Well, I don't want to talk to you. You think it was easy, didn't you? Well, it takes a real pro to do this thing every day.
Somebody better start pumping that guy full of black coffee.
I've had enough black coffee.
Come on, let's clear out of here.
Sure. Oh, hi, Joni.
Phil, I want everybody out of here. Right now.
Sure, Joan. I want to see everyone in rehearsal room B right now, please.
Well, who's that?
It's Mrs. Phil Roberts. I've seen her around the studio before. And I think you're right. I think we better go.
Sorry about your kitten, Darlene. I'm gonna have to teach you a lesson. unless you let me do what I want, you're gonna end up just like this little kitten's gonna end up. We're gonna make you pay. Just like the kitten's gonna have to pay. You're gonna pay, Lorraine.
No. Jenny! Jenny!
Lurleen? Honey. Oh, honey.
Bubba was here with the kitten.
No, he wasn't. You're just having a bad dream, that's all. You're safe now. Nothing's gonna harm you.
Bubba's gonna kill me.
He's not gonna kill you, honey. Do you really think that we'd let him near you?
Ryan took the gun away from me.
I know that.
Will you get it back for me, Rena? Please.
You don't need the gun, Lurleen. Come on now. I told you you're safe. I think maybe you should just try to relax and rest a while. Okay? I'll stay here with you.
Where's Jenny?
She's downstairs with Ryan. She'll be up in a minute. She's talking to the sheriff.
Can I talk to Lurleen now?
No, not now. I just gave her a sedative. She's sleeping.
Ginny's told you everything that Lurleen said about Bubba's phone calls, about his threats, and about his killing her kitten. It's obvious the man's sick, and he's not going to stop until he winds up hurting her.
Well, I've told the deputy to pick Bubba up for questioning.
Questioning?
Well, we can't arrest someone for allegedly killing a kitten.
It's a lot more serious than that, Sheriff.
Well, we'll bring him into the office and have him booked on harassment or whatever else we can come up with. But I just don't know how long I can keep him in jail.
And what do we do then? Do we wait until he rapes her or kills her
do
before
what
we...
I can.
But you can't keep him in jail?
If the judge grants bail, there's just no way I can hold him.
Yeah, until he terrifies her again, then we have to bring new charges against him, right?
I'm afraid that's it. I'm sorry.
I don't want your sympathy, Sheriff. I want that girl protected.
I promise I'll do the best I can.
That may not be enough.
Honey, we're going to find a way to protect her.
Ryan and I just took a gun away from her. Now, maybe we didn't do the right thing. Maybe we should give it back to her.
No, please don't do that. You'll just be asking for more trouble.
The sheriff's right. We just have to let the law handle this.
If anything happens to that girl, I'm holding you responsible. And you didn't ask Ruby for the coffee?
No, sweetheart. She came to me. She gave it to me. It was her idea.
She gave it to you and you drank it.
Well, I wouldn't have gotten through the show any other way. I was coming apart at the seams. I was shaking.
You're a fool, Philip. And I'm an even bigger fool. Because if I had half the brains I was born with, I'd walk out on you right now.
Don't say that, darling. I need you.
I know you do. But I'm not sure you realize just how much you do need me.
I do realize it. I do.
And why didn't you call me the moment you felt you needed a drink? I would have come down here right away. You know that. I've gotten you through it before. I would have gotten you through it again.
I know.
Instead, you turn to that tramp, Ruby Wright. Philip, if you let her into the picture, there is no way I can help you.
I didn't turn to her. She came to me. It's all her fault. I didn't want that
Don't blame her, Philip. You're an alcoholic. It is your problem, and you've got to learn to deal with it.
No. Ruby got me drunk. She did it on purpose.
Don't worry about Ruby. I'll take care of her.
I watched the Phil Roberts show today. That man was a basket case. My little wife did her job real well.
Well, your little wife has a lot more to do before the job's done.
Oh, I don't think so. From that show I saw, that man was finished in TV.
Phil Roberts is tough, and he's still got a big following. But I think I can handle him.
I wouldn't mind you handling me for a while. You don't have to leave right away now, do you?
I'm working on a record deal. At least that's what I told Ricky.
See you at the top of the World Club?
Mm-hmm. for 2 hours.
That's good.
Oh, hi, honey. How's Lurleen doing, huh?
Well, she's still sleeping.
She had a pretty rough night last night, didn't she?
Every time she'd just start to drift off, she had a nightmare.
Did you tell her that Bubba was arrested?
Yes. Seemed to reassure her a little bit, but not much.
You look like you could use a little sleep yourself.
I'll be all right. Kate told me that Cody called.
Mm-hmm. One of his friends is a park ranger in Yellowstone, and he caught sight of Barrett and Steve yesterday.
Where?
Right here. You see, Route 89, the south entrance. Ranger called ahead, but he lost them.
Ryan, this is a huge park. They could be there for weeks.
They could, but I don't think they will be. I just think this confirms what Steve told that guy at the gas station, that they're headed for Montana.
Oh, Ryan.
Honey, we're closing in on them. We're going to find them soon.
You think that breakfast will hold you for a couple hours while I go into town?
Can I come along?
No, not this time. I got to talk some business with my friend. See if we can't get ourselves set up with a job on his ranch.
I don't see why we had to go through Yellowstone Park so fast.
Saw Old Faithful, didn't we?
Yeah, I know.
Now, look, son. I know we kind of rushed things, but we can always go back. We're going to have plenty of time to see Yellowstone and Little Bighorn and the Grand Tetons, and
When?
just as soon as we get settled down. I'm really getting tired of that restaurant coffee and motel rooms. I mean, we need a place of our own.
Yeah, I guess.
We got to get you enrolled in school. Get you playing basketball again. Now, you can't tell me that you don't miss playing basketball.
What I really miss is Buddy and Grandma and Mom.
Well, I can assure you that your mother probably doesn't miss you. She's off in Acapulco with Ryan Connor, having the time of her life. But we don't need her. Do we, son? Hey, come on now. Give me a smile. You just forget all about that. Concentrate on helping me to make a new life for the two of us together. Okay?
Well, you got a steady hand this morning. Usually when I'm around this place, you're as jumpy as a cat.
Yeah, well, usually when you're around this place, it's full of people. You only make me nervous in a crowd.
Yeah? I just remember 3 can be a crowd, especially when it's you, me, and Ricky Decker.
Don't push that, Bo. At the moment, Ricky's my meal ticket.
I know. That's why I tolerate him for now. Where's our meal ticket this morning, anyhow?
He's at his flying lesson.
Flying? Ooh, now that's an expensive hobby.
He can afford it.
That's what I'd like to hear. Where's that brother of yours?
Took off about half hour ago. Lacey called him from the studio. Apparently there's some kind of emergency over at KVIK.
Oh, yeah? And I bet we can just imagine what that emergency is now, can't we?
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about that, Lacey. I've got today's show just about patched together. It's tomorrow's show I'm worried about. What about Senor Rodriguez, the mechanical bullfighter? What do you mean he canceled? We've got him paired up with the 2 ladies from the Humane Society, and No, I don't think there's any point in that. We'll just have to move somebody up from next week, I guess. No, I don't have any ideas. You're just going to have to work that out by yourself. Look, sweetheart, if Phil comes in here in the same condition he was in yesterday, I'm going to have my hands full down here. So Lacey, you just do it, okay? Just do it. Okay.
What's the trouble, Ben?
Don't ask. After yesterday's fiasco, our guests are just canceling out on us right and left.
Was it that bad?
Yes, it was that bad. We're okay for today, but tomorrow's a mess. If Phil comes in drunk again, we can just kiss next week goodbye.
You mean there's an opening for a guest on tomorrow's show?
Yeah, you bet your life there is.
Well, why didn't you tell me that when I was at the coop?
What are you doing?
I'm getting you a guest.
What kind of guest?
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Carrington. This is Billy Joe Wright.
Yeah.
How fast can you get a hold of Paige?
Well, I think she's at the boutique. Why?
Because I got an opening for her on the Phil Roberts show.
It shouldn't take too long, no more than an hour or so. You sure you'll be okay?
Yeah, I can watch TV or read.
Well, I'll leave the key here, just in case you feel like going for a walk around the motel. There's a pretty good newsstand in the lobby. I'll tell the man that if you want some magazines, you can just charge him to the room, okay?
Okay.
What's wrong? You seem awfully quiet.
I'm homesick.
Well, that's what I'm going in to see my friend about. Once we're settled on his ranch, and you can go riding and have other kids to talk to, well, you'll forget all about Texas. Now, if you think the Marshall Ranch was something, you just wait until you see this spread that John has. It's huge.
Have you ever been there?
No, but I know all about it. When we were stationed in Saigon, I used to talk about it all the time. John was always showing me pictures.
You sure he's going to give you a job?
Well, he promised he would. It's all going to work out. Come on, kid. See you in about an hour, all right?
Look, Paige, I know this is a bad time, but could you possibly come by the studio this morning?
Oh, Elliot, I really don't think I can. I spent all day yesterday trying to work out meetings with charities, and right now I'm waiting on calls from two, Junior League and the Hospital Ships International.
Well, I know that's important, but this is important too.
Well, I suppose I could have Nita come back from the shop and handle the calls if necessary. Why? What's so important?
Well, you remember I spoke to Billy Joe about the possibility of you going on the Phil Roberts show?
Yes.
Well, there's been a cancellation, and they want you on the show tomorrow.
Are you sure that the Paige Carrington's going to be all right on the show, Billy Joe?
Sure, she'll be terrific.
Yeah. Well, I've heard that before.
Look, in the first place, she's gorgeous.
Well, that doesn't always go over so well with our ladies in the studio.
Yeah, but Mrs. Carrington's got class, too.
Well, heaven knows we need a little bit of that around here.
Yeah, and on top of class and beauty, she's got also
all
a lot of
all right. You can save the also I'm sold. Just get a hold of her.
I know.
Anyway, it'll make Elliot happy.
Those artsy shots you want to do.
Look, I'm going to go on down to Mr. Carrington's office. Meet me there when you can, and I'll introduce you to Paige, all right?
Okay, Billy Joe.
Sometimes they're inappropriate, right?
Good morning, Mr. Roberts.
Morning, Phil. How you feeling?
Fine, just fine.
Well, you look a lot better today than you did yesterday.
Not quite so drunk, you mean?
Phil, are you going to be all right?
I'm fine, I told you that.
Look, Phil, I'm sorry about yesterday. I didn't want to call your wife. It's just that when you get like that, Joan's the only one you're going to listen to.
Let's drop it, okay, Ben? I'm fine, I'm going to stay fine, and that's that.
Sure, Phil. Anything you say.
Is Ruby in the studio?
No, not yet. At least I haven't seen her.
Well, I want to see her the moment she gets in. You understand?
Yeah. Sure, Phil. I understand.
Ruby, why don't you get rid of Phil Roberts? What makes you think your brother's going to give me a job on the show?
Don't worry about that. I've had 20-some years of experience. I've always been able to handle Billy Joe.
Yeah, what about Phil Roberts? How you plan on handling him today?
Same way I did yesterday. Ruby's got her special coffee all hot and ready.
What if Roberts got you figured out? I mean, the man's not dumb. He's got to know somebody sabotaged him.
I don't think he's in any condition to figure at all. When Mrs. Roberts walked in on us that day in the studio, she said one more drink would push her husband over the edge. Well, after yesterday, I think we can safely say that he's over the edge. And from here on in, it's going to be just like rolling a stone downhill.
the check, that's all.
I wonder what Grandma's doing now.
I don't know.
Dad?
What?
Don't you miss Grandma?
Yes, I do.
Then why can't we live on the ranch with her?
Because Uncle Justin actually live there now.
Uncle Justin was teaching me how to jump. He told me he used to have a thoroughbred horse, the finest in the state.
Yeah. Yes. Won a lot of blue ribbons. Lady Kate.
Lady Kate?
Yeah, they named her after Grandma.
I think we could all live on the ranch together.
No, Steve. I think we'll be much better off if we live somewhere else.
I don't.
Besides, it'd be too hard for you to see your mother.
No, I'd like to see her.
Does she want to see you? You read the letter. She wants to have Ryan Connor's children. Make a new family. There isn't going to be time for her in your life. I'm sorry, son, but you just have to accept the way that she feels about you, that's all. Thank you.
I don't believe Mom doesn't love me anymore.
How you feeling?
Better.
Oh, good. You still have a headache?
No, sleeping seems to have helped.
Well, and breakfast is going to help even more. We're going to make some French toast. Would anyone care to join us?
Oh, I'd love to, but no thanks. Kate, Jenny, and I have already eaten.
Have you talked to the sheriff this morning?
If you mean, is Bubba still in jail? Yes, he is. I squeezed some orange juice this morning. There's some in the refrigerator. Why don't you pour yourself a glass?
Okay.
Pour a glass for me, too. I'll be along in a minute. How long do you think they can keep Bubba locked up?
Well, I don't know. Sheriff's doing everything he can legally. But if the judge does allow Bubba out on bail, I don't know.
Well, then we'll be right back where we started.
Oh, no. No, we won't.
Rena said that Lurleen could stay at her folks' house in Houston.
Oh, well, I don't think Lurleen would be comfortable with them. I've had such a hard time getting her to stay here. Oh, it's disgraceful to think that a young girl has to run and hide.
No, Kate, she won't have to hide. She's going to be real safe out here, even if it means hiring guards to protect her.
Do you think that Bubba's really dangerous now that the sheriff's on to him? Or is he just trying to save face by frightening Lurleen?
I don't know, but I'm certainly not going to take any chances.
I think that Bubba's devious. I mean, he had all of us convinced that he was in Mississippi.
Well, they're all on to him now, so even if the judge does allow Bubba out on bail, Harley and the sheriff are going to keep a real close eye on him. So Bubba's not going to be able to pull any more of these stunts.
You're wearing a hole in the floor.
Oh, I'm sorry, Elliot. All of this has me very nervous.
I don't know why in the world it should. All you have to do is be yourself.
Be myself. Just be myself. Easy for you to say. You're not the one sitting in that chair facing those cameras.
Those cameras are gonna love you, kid.
Where's Billy Joe? What's taking him so long?
He went down the hall to tell the producer you're here. Paige, you're making me crazy.
Oh, I'm sorry, Elliot. I'm going to try to be calm now. Maybe we should talk about something else. How's Dennis?
He's fine. When I went to see him yesterday, he was having a fierce game of backgammon with one of the student nurses. I thought the fact that he was feeling competitive was a very good sign.
Is he still depressed?
Well, he still has his low moments, but who doesn't?
Hey, Miss Garrison.
Oh, hi, Billy Joe.
Ben will be here in a minute.
Great. How do I look?
Just like always, terrific.
See? Told you have nothing to worry about. You're surrounded by fans.
Will you two stop it? I've never been on a talk show before. I just don't know if I can do it.
Well, sure you can. It's easy.
Yeah, well, I have a feeling it's easy until you... It's one of those things that's easy until you try it.
No, look. I mean, if somebody like me can do it, anybody can.
I don't have the slightest idea what to say, Billy
You
Joe.
don't have to worry about a thing now. Phil Roberts and me will ask all the questions, and you just answer them.
Yeah, but shouldn't I say something to try to sell the boutique?
Oh, no, that's one thing you mustn't do. The worst thing, matter of fact, the biggest mistake people do is when they push things. So all you gotta do is just sit there and look pretty.
That should be a snap.
Yeah, but what if the producer doesn't like me?
He loves you already. I told him everything he needs to know.
You're sure?
Absolutely. Will you just calm down, leave everything up to old Billy Joe? We're gonna have that boutique of yours packed to the rafters with the fanciest people in Houston. You just wait and see.
I'm sorry, I can't get used to that beard of yours.
Do I really look that different?
Maybe not. Tell you one thing. If General Magers ever saw it, he'd have a stroke. He'd never believe that one of his clean-cut officers would show up with something like that.
Yeah, well, General Magers in Saigon, command, all that's a long time ago.
Yeah, I guess. What has it been? 7 or 8 years since I saw you?
You left Saigon in '72.
I never understood why you volunteered to go around again.
It was something I felt I had to do.
I couldn't see it. Not the way things were. Did you grow that in Cambodia? I heard about the prison camp. I guess it was pretty bad.
It's over, John. It's something I'd rather not talk about.
Okay. I guess I can understand that. How's Jenny?
Jenny and I are divorced.
Divorced? It can't mean that, Barry.
The final decree came through about a month ago.
Why? I mean, Lord, I don't remember anyone more in love than you two.
Yeah, well, things happen.
And she wrote you a letter every day you were in Saigon.
But after that, when I was in the prison camp, she thought I was dead. She married another man. Fell in love with him anyway.
I'm sorry. Wish there was something I could say.
Forget it, John. I have it.
You have a boy, don't you?
Steve. He's with me now. His mother doesn't want him, so,
It's really all come down on you, hasn't it?
I manage. Only right now, what I need is a job.
Yeah.
What I need to do is make a clean break. Get rid of all those Texas memories. Get on with my life. Need to settle down, make a home. Help Steve deal with doing without his mother.
Well, a thing like that must be pretty tough on a kid.
Well, it's not easy. He's a bright boy. I think he's adjusting pretty well.
Well, Mrs. Carrington, it's been very nice meeting you. Unless you have any more questions, I guess I'll see you tomorrow, about an hour before the show.
Great. Thank you very much.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Thanks, Ben.
Sure, Billy Joe.
Well, was I all right?
You passed inspection with flying colors.
See, I knew he'd like you.
Oh, thank you, Billy Joe.
Hey, don't thank me. It's the least I can do. I mean, after what you done for Nita and... Hey, I guess I better get back to the studio then, huh?
Oh, thanks again.
Hey, don't thank me. Thank Mr. Carrington. I mean, it was all his idea. And if you want to know the truth, you're helping us all out of a big jam.
Well, it's nice of you to say that.
See you tomorrow.
Okay. Bye. Billy Joe is right. I do want to thank you, Elliot.
Well, if the boutique is a success, that's all the thanks I'll need.
Do you really think being on the Phil Roberts show is going to bring in customers?
Well, I don't know. The ratings have certainly soared since Ricky and Billy Joe came on the show. And I think they'll I imagine there's a lot of people out there who'll be interested to know how a high-fashion boutique works.
Yes, but the important question is, are they going to be interested enough to spend their money?
I think they will.
Well, I better get back to the hotel, see how Nita's doing with those charities.
Have any of them agreed to sponsor the opening?
No, not yet. They all seem to have chain of commands that stretch on forever. A co-chairman has to talk to the chairman, who has to talk to the board, etc.,
It's the
etc.
wonderful world of committees.
Frankly, I'm not really sure that they're worth the trouble.
Well, they are if they bring in the type of people you want.
After my little run-in with the tasteful Mrs. Oliver, I'm not really sure the committee ladies are what I want, especially if they're friends of Iris Wheeler.
You know, Paige, despite what Iris thinks, her power is really very limited. There's a whole world out there who couldn't care less what Iris says or does. Even so, I think the charity route is worth pursuing.
Elliot.
What?
Would you... Never mind.
What? What is it?
I was wondering if you wanted to have dinner this evening.
I don't think that's a very good idea, Paige.
Okay. I understand. Well, then I guess I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. So long.
Hi, Mr. Roberts.
Well, good morning, Ruby.
I was just talking to Lacey in the office, and she said that you wanted to see me. She said it was real important.
Yes, I think it is. Sit down here for a minute.
You're looking real good today.
So are you.
So, what did you want to talk about?
Your brother. We never had a chance to talk about your plans for getting rid of him as co-host on my show.
Oh, that's right, we didn't. Well, you know, I wanted to talk to you about it yesterday, but then your wife walked in. She always seems to arrive at the most inopportune time.
I know, but she's not here now.
Well, no, she's not, but, well, it's a little public here. Maybe we should wait till after the show, and we could go someplace where no one will walk in on us. Would you like that?
Well, we could always go someplace after the show, but frankly, I'd like to hear about your plans now, unless you have some reason for not wanting to discuss it.
No, no reason. But first, I think I might have a cup of coffee. Would you like one?
No, thank you.
You sure? It's real good.
I remember, but I don't think I'll have one today. Oh. Don't let me stop you.
Oh. All right.
Something wrong?
No, nothing's wrong. I changed my mind. I drank almost a whole pot full of coffee at the coop. I don't think I want any right now.
I'm on to you, Ruby.
What do you mean?
You know precisely what I mean. You brewed yourself up a nice little double-cross, didn't you?
What are you talking about?
It wasn't Billy Joe you were going to get rid of. It was me, wasn't it?
Mr. Roberts, what a terrible thing to say.
Yes, but it was a terrible thing you did, wasn't it?
What?
My wife told you that I was an alcoholic, and you decided to take advantage of that fact.
Mr. Roberts, I would never do a thing like that.
Of course not, Ruby. You're on thin ice. You better watch your step.
Thanks, sugar. Well, to make a long story short, my brother Bill decided about 2 years ago that ranching was not for him, so he moved into the city with his wife and kids.
Yeah, well, my brother and sisters didn't take much to ranching either.
Well, he's pretty happy. He bought a local hardware store. Seems to be making a go of it.
And he was a Navy man, wasn't he?
Yeah. He always had to do things different from me, you know. You met him once, I think, in Hawaii, I think.
I remember.
Anyway,
Bill and his wife built a nice little house out of the ranch. It's vacant. If you and Steve want to move in, you're welcome.
Sounds perfect.
It's a school bus stops right about a half a mile down the road, so that's no problem. Your boy into sports?
Yeah. He runs track in the spring. He plays basketball the rest of the year.
I know. Red Gardner, that's a basketball coach. He has one of the best programs in the county. In fact, last year, junior varsity went all the way to the state finals.
Steve will be pleased about that.
Well, I can take you over to school tomorrow and introduce you to Red. He's old buddy. So is the principal, for that matter.
It sounds like maybe Steve and I have found ourselves a home. Oh, I have a rented car that I've got to turn in eventually. I don't suppose there's any place around here that I could do that.
No, have to go into the city. Just let me know when you're ready and make the trip in. You drop off the car and
I hate
come
to
back.
put you out. No, I can't do that.
Don't worry. I got a couple of old trucks out at the ranch, and you can use one to get around until you're ready to buy a car for yourself.
You know, John, I really appreciate all of this.
It's no big deal. I mean, anyway, he got me out of a couple of pretty close spots when we were in Nam, so I'm kind of glad to have the chance to return the favor. Now, wait a minute.
Oh, come on now, please. John, you're a bad man.
Well, folks, I'm afraid that's all the time we've got for today, but we'll be looking for you tomorrow at the same time. And remember, somebody loves you.
Thanks, everybody. Good show, Phil.
Thank you.
Ben's right, Phil. It was a good show.
Oh, yeah. No thanks to you or Ruby.
Hey, come on, Phil. I'm getting tired of this. If we're going to work together, can't there be somewhere we can bury the hatchet?
Depends on where you and Ruby plan on burying it.
What are you talking about?
Look, Billy Joe, I don't know whether you were part of Ruby's little scheme to get rid of me or not. Frankly, I don't think you got the brains to cook up something like that. But the truth is, I don't like you, and I like your sister even less. And the sooner I get rid of the both of you, the happier I'll be.
Now, wait a minute. What did my sister Ruby do to start all this?
She spiked my coffee with 100-proof vodka. That's what she did. Oh, don't look so surprised. Your sister got me drunk yesterday and the day before, for that matter.
That's crazy.
Ask your sister if she thinks it's crazy, and ask her what kind of poison she's lugging around in that thermos of hers.
What thermos?
Ask her!
I wrote this letter to Barrett when I was sure I was pregnant with Steve. Do you remember what you wrote on that first page? Probably told him about the ranch news. I always started my letters out that way. Well, then he must have thrown out that first page and substituted his own page. It said that there was no room in your life for Steve.
Rena, why is Barrett doing this to me?
Because he's crazy, Ginny, because he wants to hurt you. Taking Steve is the only way he knows how to do that.
How can Steve believe this? How can he believe that I don't love him?
Darling, he doesn't know what or whom to believe anymore. Just think about it. Your divorce from Barry, Max's death, your marriage to Ryan, and then your decision to move away from the ranch and then back into town. That was just too much for a little guy to deal with.
I should have helped him more. I should have spent more time with him.
Jenny, honey, don't do this. Don't start thinking about all the things you should have done. You did everything you could.
I called Cody at the Highway Patrol. Now, they checked all the airlines, but he's not listed on any of the flights leaving Houston tonight or tomorrow.
Did they know what kind of car he was driving, what his license number was?
Not yet. They know that he didn't rent the car at the airport, so they're checking all the car rental agencies in town.
Is it possible that Barry could have taken Steve to Colorado?
I don't know, but I doubt it.
Why?
It'd be too easy for us to trace him. My guess is that he's taken him somewhere to start a new life. Honey, it's just a guess. Now, we have to be ready for anything.
He could change his name and just disappear.
Kate's calling the people who own the ranch where Barrett's been staying. They're going to call us if they hear from him.
And if they don't, he'll get in touch with you somehow. Ginny, I know he will.
Hi, honey. Hi. Sorry it took so long, but I had to stop by the sheriff's office and talk to him. Is Lurleen all right?
Yes.
You all right?
Yes.
Hey, it looked like Wanda's car was pulling out of the driveway when I came up.
Yes, it was.
What'd she want?
She came over to tell me that Buddy's very worried about Stephen. She brought this. It's their team basketball photo. It was taken the last week, right before Barrett took Stephen. It's probably the last picture I'll ever...
You have to stop being so upset. Now you're playing into Barrett's hands if you do.
I'm sorry. I just feel so helpless, Ryan.
Well, it's not. Listen, I keep telling you we're going to find Steve, we're going to bring him back to Houston, and everything's going to be just the way it was before.
But everything seems so wrong.
Hey, you're just tired. Now you stayed up half the night with Lurleen. You need some sleep. Why don't you go upstairs, and you're going to be surprised how much better you're going to feel.
All I want to do is make you happy.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, but since our wedding...
Ginny, I have you, and before long, we're going to have Steve, aren't we?
Suppose that Steve doesn't want me. Suppose he doesn't love me anymore.
Steve loves you, Ginny. He always will love you. Now, if I was ever sure of anything in this world, I'm sure of that.
The line's busy? Well, you sure you got the right number? Yes, sir. Thanks anyway.
Hiya, son. How you doing? What you up to?
Nothing else, just putting something away in my suitcase.
Well, I got good news. You can put everything in that suitcase. Because we are moving out of this motel and into a house on the Granville Ranch.
We are?
Yes. Not only did my friend have a job for me, but he's got a house as well. John says that we can move into his brother's place tonight. Stay just as long as we like. Now, what do you think about that? John says that he's got a horse for you to ride, too. Pretty bay gelding.
I want my own horse and morning glory.
Well, don't be in such a rush. We'll send for your horses and morning glory, too, just as soon as we can. But in the meantime, you can ride the bay gelding, okay? Now then, tomorrow we're going to take you into school and get you enrolled. From what John says, not a very big school. It's only a couple hundred kids, but the basketball team's one of the best in the state.
No, I don't think I want to play basketball.
Well, sure you do. And John's a good friend of the coach, and so he'll introduce you and get you on the team.
But I won't know anybody.
Well, you will. You'll be surprised at how quickly you can make friends. John says that 2 of the hands have boys your age, so you'll even have a couple of buddies right out on the ranch.
I don't want a couple of
Oh,
buddies.
Steve, come on. Don't be difficult about this. You and I are about to start a brand new life. If you'll just make a little effort, I think we're going to do just fine.
Did you have any trouble getting in?
Nope, security guard had my name at the desk just like you said. What's up?
Did you see the show?
Yeah, I did. Roy and I watched it at the coop. Phil Roberts looked like he was in pretty good shape today.
He was in pretty good shape. That's why I called.
Well, what happened? Didn't you brew your coffee strong enough?
The coffee was fine, but he wouldn't touch it.
Why not?
He's on to us, Bo.
I told you he wasn't that dumb. So what now?
I don't know what now, but we got to do something or we're going to end up in a whole lot of trouble.
What's this wee stuff?
Look, don't pull that. I only got involved in this whole thing because of you. Phil Roberts and I were tight until I tried to trick him into getting you on this stupid show.
Has Phil Roberts said anything to Billy Joe yet?
I don't know.
Where's that brother of yours now?
He's in his dressing room. I haven't seen him yet, but I can't go on avoiding him all day.
Looks like you got yourself in one tight spot, honey.
Yeah, and it's all your fault.
Oh, now, Punk, is that any way to talk to your adoring husband?
Cut it, Bo. Just cut it and help me.
I don't know what you're getting so all fired riled up for, Ruby. I got faith in you. I've seen you handle everything up until now pretty well. And I got a feeling that you're going to handle this just fine.
You need any help with that?
No, I think I'm okay.
Sure you wouldn't want to come in with me and do a little grocery shopping?
No, I hate getting stuck on those checkout lines with all those ladies.
Well, suit yourself. I'll drive down to that supermarket we passed and get some stuff for dinner. When I get back, I'll check out of here and get on our way to the ranch.
Okay, I'll be ready.
Hello. No, don't place the call. I'll do it later, thank you. That was the desk clerk. He wanted to know if he should try calling Houston again.
I was calling Grandma.
What for?
I want to see how she is, see how Mom is.
I don't want you talking to Grandma. Not for a while.
Why not?
You said you were homesick. You talk to Grandma, you'll just make things worse.
I don't see why.
I don't want you talking to Grandma or anyone else in Houston.
But
no calls. You understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, then. I'm going to the supermarket. You'll be ready to leave when I get back. Okay?
Tell you the truth, Ruby, I don't think it much matters on how you decide to handle... we got company.
Hey, big brother.
Just cool with the big brother stuff.
Something wrong?
Yeah, I want to talk to you. In private.
Oh, Bo, do you mind get lost for a while, huh?
Sure, no problem. I want to check out this studio anyway.
Get something straight here.
What?
I just talked to Phil right after the show, and he made some accusations that I don't like one bit. Now, he claims that you're the reason that he went on that binge of his yesterday.
What are you talking about?
He claims that you're the one who got him drunk.
Well, Billy Joe, that is the craziest thing I have ever heard. Now, why would I want to get him drunk?
I don't know. But, he just told me to ask you about some thermos.
A thermos?
Yeah, he said you know what he meant by it.
Oh, okay. He's talking about this. I offered him a cup of coffee yesterday before the show to steady his nerves. But I never seen anybody get as drunk as he did on one cup of coffee.
Yeah, well, are you sure there wasn't something else in there except coffee?
I'm positive. Here. You can see for yourself.
Seems all right.
It is.
Well, what was Phil talking about?
Who knows? The man's a drunk. Who knows what he's talking about?
He wasn't drunk today, Ruby.
Well, the man has a problem, Billy Joe. He's an alcoholic, and he's looking for somebody to lay the blame on. Now, after what he did yesterday, I wouldn't be surprised at anything he said. But I am surprised that you'd believe him.
I'm not saying I believe him. I just don't understand why I'd come up with a story like that out of thin air.
Well, that's the way alcoholics are.
I swear I'm not cut out for this type of television work with everybody sneaking behind everybody's back and doing things. It's like working in some damn nut house.
Oh, Billy Joe, look. Why don't you just take it easy, huh? Just calm down. What we'll do is we'll get Phil and we'll talk to him. We'll get him face to face.
What's wrong? Billy Joe.
I don't know.
Here, sit down. Sit down. Oh! Billy Joe! Billy Joe! Help! Somebody help me!
Dear Grandma, I miss you and the horses and Morning Glory, and Buddy and Rena. But most of all, I miss Mom. Dad says she doesn't want me to live with her anymore. He says she wants to spend all her time with Ryan. I still love her, though. Will you tell her that for me? I love you, too. Stephen Marshall.
Hi, honey. That's more like it. You're feeling better, aren't you?
Yes.
Did you take your nap?
Yes, and I had a dream about Stephen.
Was it a good dream?
It was wonderful. I dreamt I walked down the stairs and he was waiting for me over there by the door.
That's one dream that's going to come true now, isn't it?
I think so, too.